Hey, it's the old top Gator here with Gators Pizza Pasta Subs in the Northridge Plaza. Gators is known for top quality food, and now you can have our food selections delivered right to your front door using DoorDash. That's right, now you have 4 ways that you can get great Gators food: dine in, carry out, curbside pickup, and now delivery through DoorDash. Gators has been serving the Pierre area and now Trappers baseball fans since 1987. Gators Pizza Pasta Subs in the Northridge Plaza.
Welcome to Trappers Live pregame. As the Pierre Trappers come for Game 2 against the Western Nebraska Pioneers. The Pioneers won yesterday's game by a final score of 14-5, and it wasn't a great day to be a fielder in yesterday's game. A total of 13 combined errors, 8 for the Western Nebraska Pioneers, and 5 for the Pierre Trappers. The Trappers, it was a game of missed opportunities. 8 out of the 9 innings yesterday, they left a runner on base, only scoring 5 runs in 4 innings. For the Trappers today, they're going to have to take advantage of more opportunities and be able to finish the job when they have runners in scoring position. A few lineup changes on both sides for both the Pios and the Trappers. As we'll take you down the starting lineups first for the visiting Western Nebraska Pioneers. They'll lead things off in right field with number 15 and Kip Gronholz. Batting second, the third baseman, number 27, Cade McGee. Batting third, the designated hitter, for Western Nebraska, they'll lead things off with shortstop number 2, Dalton Frank. He was the 8-hole yesterday, and after a 3-for-4 day, he'll jump up to the leadoff spot. Batting second will be the third baseman, number 27, Cade McGee. Batting third, the catcher, number 21, and Jake English. He will move from the designated hitter spot to behind the plate catching for the Pios. Batting fourth, the center fielder, number 22, JT Walden. Batting fifth, the first baseman, number 25, Michael Felden. Batting sixth, the right fielder, number 15, Kip Gronholz. Batting seventh, playing in his first game in 3 games, the left fielder, number 28, Caden Edwards. Batting eighth, the designated hitter, number 35, Ethan Hergert. He comes in from left field to be the DH today. And then finally, batting ninth, the second baseman, number 4, Clay Cutter, who came in as a defensive substitution yesterday, got 1 at-bat, going 1-for-1 yesterday. The Pios will look to number 20 in Teddy Broxterman. He's pitched in 2 games so far this season in 3.2 innings pitched, has not allowed a hit or a run as he continues a perfect season with a 0.00 ERA. For the Pierre Trappers, a similar guy in the leadoff spot, the shortstop, number 14, Tyler Skelton. Batting second, the left fielder, number 3, Braden Cordes. Cordes will move to left field from second base yesterday. Batting third, the first baseman, number 35, Nicholas Strong, making his first start at the 3 position in the field. In the cleanup spot, the third baseman, number 33, Caden Cardoso. Batting fourth and moving up in the lineup, the designated hitter, number 13, Brendan Perez, moving up 3 positions in the starting 9. Batting sixth, the right fielder, number 21, and Jacob Newman. Batting seventh, the catcher, number 23, and Brock Reinhardt. Batting eighth, the center fielder, number 16, Bennett Osborne. Osborne comes into the center fielder spot after Braden Sorge went down with what seemed like a high thigh injury yesterday after crossing the plate on a sacrifice fly. And batting ninth, the second baseman, number 2, Thomas McKenna, making only his second start this season and his first outside of the catcher position. On the mound for the Pierre Trappers, it will be Adrian Lopez, who started a couple games ago against the Hastings Sodbusters in 1 inning of work. He allowed 5 runs with 3 of them earned. He'll look for a better outing today against Western Nebraska. The Pioneers continue to steal the bases. They really found that out late in the game when they continued to score and get a lead in that game. They went a perfect 4-for-4 yesterday. They are now a perfect 14-for-14 on swiped base attempts this season. After a game that was close through the first 7 innings, the Pioneers took the lead in the 8th and 9th and never really looked back en route to a 9-run victory over the Pierre Trappers. The Trappers, with a 1-2 mark, look to go 500 with a much closer or even farther in the Trappers' direction today against the Pios. It's the Pioneers and the Trappers, game 2 of 2, as the Trappers try to even the series, heading into their first road series against Spearfish 2 days from now.
Wow, Shell's Quick Stop is the place to go for a variety of food, drinks, fishing tackle, and more. Hungry? Come on down for breakfast pizza, burritos, biscuits and gravy, soup, salad, and wraps. Thirsty? Try their hot and cold espresso drinks, lattes, frappuccinos, and milkshakes from the drive-up window. Heading down to the water? Stop by to pick up minnows, crawlers, and leeches to secure the big bites. All of it's down at Shells at 621 West Sioux Avenue. Welcome back. It's game 2 between the Western Nebraska Pioneers and the Pierre Trappers. Western Nebraska taking game 1 of this series by a final score of 14-5. The Pierre Trappers will look to make things a little more interesting today, as it was a close game throughout yesterday's ball game. In fact, tied up at 4 at the end of the 7th inning. But a 4-run 6th inning by the Pios and then a 6-run 9th inning to put the game away ended the chances for the Trappers to have a comeback. The Trappers did score 1 run in the bottom of the 9th, but it was all for naught as the Pios ended up winning their 3rd game of the season by a final score of 14-5. Today, the Pios now find themselves half a game back on the Fremont Moo in the Clark Division standings. Fremont at 4-1, Western Nebraska at 3-1. The Pierre Trappers, it's a different story. After splitting what was supposed to be a 3-game series with Hastings 1-1, and dropping yesterday's game, they dropped to 1-2 on the season. They are 2 games back in the standings in the early season so far. Both coaches, and Garcia and May, decided to go into their lineup card and make a few changes after seeing yesterday's game, and rightfully so, as in the field there were 13 combined errors, with 8 errors committed by the Pios and 5 errors committed by the Pierre Trappers. So speaking of the starting lineups for Western Nebraska, the 8-hole batter from yesterday, the shortstop number 2, Dalton Frank, catapults himself up to the top of the lineup. Batting second will be the 3rd baseman in Cade McGee, no change there. Batting third, the catcher number 21, Jake English. English was yesterday's designated hitter. He'll move to a position player behind the plate today. Batting fourth will be the center fielder, JT Walden, wearing number 22. Batting fifth, number 25, the first baseman, Michael Felton. Felton was yesterday's catcher. He'll move 90 feet away to a position at first base. Batting sixth, the right fielder, number 15, Kip Gronholz. Gronholz was yesterday's leadoff batter for the Western Nebraska Pioneers. He'll bat sixth today. Batting seventh, the left fielder, number 28, and Caden Edwards. Edwards hasn't gotten game action since Game 2 of the Pio series against the Casper Horseheads. He'll be put back into the lineup tonight for this second game of 2 against the Trappers. Batting eighth, the designated hitter, number 35, Ethan Hergert. He moves 1 spot down in the lineup and moves out of left field to the designated hitter spot. And batting ninth, the second baseman, number 4, Clay Cutter, who came in as a defensive sub and then hit a RBI double, or a 2 RBI double in the top of the 9th inning yesterday. He'll get a chance in the starting lineup tonight. So out comes both Webb and Deeds from Western Nebraska's lineup yesterday. Just a few changes made in this final game of a quick 2-game set between the Pios and the Trappers. On the mound for Western Nebraska will be number 20 in Teddy Broxterman. The left-handed pitcher out of St. Paul, Minnesota, has pitched in 2 games this season, batting 3 2/3 of an inning, has not allowed a hit or a run, and currently has a 0.00 ERA. It's Broxterman's second season with the Pioneers. Last season went 4-0 with a 5.40 ERA in 16 games and 5 starts. Meanwhile, for the Trappers, a few changes, including a big one in center field. The Trappers will line up with the shortstop, number 14, Tyler Skelton, leading off. Batting second, the left fielder, number 3, Braden Cordes. Batting third and making his first start at first base, number 35, Nicholas Strong. Batting fourth, the third baseman, number 33, Caden Cardoso. Batting fifth, the designated hitter, number 13, Brendan Perez. Perez will get his first start as the designated hitter, and he moves up in the lineup from yesterday when he batted 8th in the lineup. Batting sixth, the right fielder, number 21, Jacob Newman, who will get his first start outside of the 9-hole. He'll bat 6th tonight for Pierre. Batting seventh, the catcher, number 23, Brock Reinhardt. He makes his first appearance behind the plate in a few games for the Trappers, last starting behind the plate on opening day. Batting eighth, the center fielder, number 16, Bennett Osborne. Osborne starts in center field after Braden Sorge went down with what seemed like either an upper thigh or hamstring injury yesterday, crossing the plate on a sacrifice fly. So Osborne gets the start in center today. And rounding out the starting 9 for the Pierre Trappers, the second baseman, number 2 in Thomas McKenna, getting his first action in 2 games. Previously went 1 for 1 with a couple of walks in the starting lineup. He's currently batting 1,000 on the season with a sample size of 1. The pitcher for the Pierre Trappers today is number 8 in Adrian Lopez. The right-hander for the Trappers gets the nod. He pitched 1 inning a few games ago in the second game of the Hastings series. He pitched 1 inning with 5 runs, 3 of which earned. That comes out to a 27 ERA as he'll look to bring that down tonight in the second game against the Pierre Trappers. Big game for both teams to build some momentum. Following this game, Western Nebraska has a couple days off. They drive back to Gering tonight, and we'll have to get ready for the Badlands Big Sticks who come to town from June 1st to the 3rd. For the Trappers, they have a single day off tomorrow, and then we'll travel on the road for their first road series of the season before they take on the Spearfish Sasquatch. We'll take a short break for the national anthem and be right back for first pitch here on the Pierre Trappers YouTube and Mixlr live streams. The national anthem has been sung, and that means it's time to play ball. Welcome to our coverage of the Pierre Trappers taking on the Western Nebraska Pioneers. The Trappers, the home team here at Hyde Stadium, as they try to split this series against the Pios before heading to their first road series in Spearfish. Defensive lineup for the Pierre Trappers will have Braden Cordes in left, Osborne in center, Newman in right. In the infield, they'll have Cardoso at third, Skelton at short, McKenna at second base, and Strong at first. The battery for the Pierre Trappers is Adrian Lopez on the mound, and Brock Reinhardt behind the plate doing the catching. The batting order for Western Nebraska, well, they'll have Frank, the shortstop, batting first, McGee, the third baseman, batting second, English, the catcher, batting third, the center fielder, Walden, batting fourth, the first baseman, Felton, batting fifth, The right fielder, Gronholz, batting 6th. The left fielder, Edwards, batting 7th. The designated hitter, Hergert, batting 8th. And the second baseman, Cutter, rounding out the starting 9 in the 9-hole. Coming out on the mound is Adrian Lopez. As I mentioned, a 1 appearance so far. He was the starting pitcher against Hastings in Game 2 of that series. His start was ended short by a lightning delay that brought in Brendan Perez in relief. Lopez, in that 1 inning of work, allowed 5 runs, 3 of which were earned for a 27 ERA. The righty for the Trappers looks to improve his ERA and the rest of his statistics with a start against Western Nebraska tonight. Western Nebraska continues to have a big list of bats in the heart of their order. Their 3, 4, 5, and 6 are all batting over 300, with English batting 438, Walden batting 375, Felton batting 400, and Gronholz batting 313. For the Trappers today, they'll wear all gray, more of a light gray silver color with a blue Pierre in block lettering across the front, navy numbers on the left-hand side of the front, and a navy number on the back. They'll wear their blue caps today. Meanwhile, for Western Nebraska, they'll wear gray pants with black jerseys with a white script Pios. On the left-hand side, a white number, and then a block white number on the back of their jerseys with a red outline, black hats as well with a red brim for the Western Nebraska Pioneers today. Pierre comes into the field after 5 errors committed in yesterday's game and 7 errors committed the game before that. A big note by Coach May coming into this second game of the series was to get fundamentals down, have better communication in the field, and really limit the errors committed by the Pierre Trappers as the key to victory in today's game. Also for the Trappers, on the offensive side of the baseball, they left 17 runners on base and allowed and got runners into scoring position in 8 out of the 9 innings yesterday, only scoring 5 runs in 4 innings, never scoring more than 2 runs in a single inning. So for the Trappers offensively, it's going to be how are they going to finish the job when they get runners into scoring position. Walking towards the batter's box and leading things off for Western Nebraska is the shortstop number 2 in Dalton Frank. Frank came into yesterday's game with a 182 batting average, with his 3-for-4 performance yesterday has upped that to a 333 batting average. Steps in the right-handed batter's box. A freshman heading into his sophomore year at Florida Atlantic University playing for the Owls. Lopez winds up and pitches, and we are underway with the ball high in the zone. So Frank starts with a 1-0 count, a native of Loxahatchee, Florida, more south-central Florida part of the state. Lopez winds up and deals. Another one goes inside for ball 2. So Frank starts out the game with a 2-0 count. For Lopez, in his previous start in 1 inning of work, walked 4 batters, so trying to get some more control in start number 2. Lopez winds up and pitches. That one's going to be high and inside yet again. And 3 straight balls come from Lopez to open the game for the Pierre Trappers defensively. Due up in the top of the first for the Pios is Frank, McGee, and English, with Frank taking the current at bat. Pitch catches the inside part of the plate for called strike number 1. Frank didn't offer it at it. It makes the count 3 balls and 1 strike to the leadoff batter. Every team in the Expedition League playing a game today. A few teams have days off tomorrow. Pitch by Frank. That's going to be a fly ball into left field. Underneath it is Cordes. And Cordes will reach up to make the catch. A fly out to left field to start the game for the Pierre Trappers for out number 1. That will bring up the third baseman, number 27, and Cade McGee. McGee yesterday went 0 for 5, struck out 2 times, but had an RBI. An RBI fielder's choice back in the 9th inning. First pitch to him runs inside, and hits him, and the Pios will get their first base runner on by a hit by pitch. First pitch of McGee's at bat. Runs inside to get him. So the Pioneers have a runner aboard here in the top of the first inning with one away in the inning. It will bring up number 21 in Jake English. English's ERA came down from 5.38 yesterday, down 100 points to 4.38. Pitch catches the side of the plate for strike number 1. English went 0 for 3 yesterday, had an RBI, but walked twice, so was able to get on base a few times against the Trappers yesterday. Lopez sets, winds up and pitches. Pitch goes inside for ball 1. So far, where Lopez has been missing has been inside. As we saw the previous batter, McGee, get hit with a pitch. The 1-1 again goes inside for ball 2. So a 2-1 count to the 3-hole batter with JT Walden on deck. The Trappers, for the most part, were able to keep Western Nebraska to limited hits. With 14 runs, they only achieved 8 base hits, as another pitch will miss for ball 3. So a 3-1 count to Jake English. Lopez winds up and pitches. That one's going to catch the outside part of the plate. English almost took a step out of the box to trot to first base, but he's called back quickly. Our umpires today is Paul Sedicase behind the plate and Tony Archina, the umpires in the field, taking a switch from their positions yesterday. So a full count coming to the catcher, Jake English. Taking off for second, a line drive. That will be a foul ball. Keeps the count at 3 balls and 2 strikes to the catcher, English. It was a hit and run as McGee took off as soon as the pitch was thrown by Lopez. A swing by English almost was a double down the line, but ended up hooking foul. Pitch, another foul ball, and again the Pios going for the hit and run with Frank taking off for second. Game time weather, it's a cloudy, overcast day in Pierre, South Dakota. Weather at 61 degrees, wind blowing at approximately 5 to 8 miles per hour. Flags not seeming to move in center field. Adrian Lopez accepts the sign. Kicks and deals. That one's going to run high and inside, and on the full count, Lopez is going to lose the catcher, English, and the Pioneers have a runner in scoring position off the walk.
The center fielder, number 22, JT Walden.
Pioneers couldn't get anything doing in the first 2 frames yesterday. Finally got a runner to second base in the 3rd. Didn't end up scoring until the 5th inning in Ryan Cross's last inning of work. So JT Walden becomes the new batter in the cleanup spot for the Pioneers. First pitch to him catches the low and inside part of the plate right at the knees for a called strike 1. Walden steps out of the box and steps back in, tapping the bat a couple times on the plate, and gets ready in the left-handed batter's box. The 0-1. Walden thought about swinging at a pitch low, but takes it for ball 1. A 1-1 count to the center fielder. Felton on deck for the Pioneers. Gronholz in the hole. Lopez, a long look at McGee at second. Pickoff attempt. And tripping up Skelton is McGee, diving back to the bag safely. So a 1-1 count to JT Walden, who's batting .375 this season. Down from .545 yesterday. He was tied for the Expedition League leader coming into yesterday's game, but after an 0 for 5 performance, that is no longer the case. Spoils the pitch down the third base line for strike number 2. So Lopez ahead in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes to JT Walden. Runners at first and second for the Pioneers. English stands at first, McGee at second. Lopez deals a swing, and that one's going to be grounded to McKenna. McKenna trips, is able to flip it to Skelton. Skelton on to first, not in time for Strong. It will go as a fielder's choice. What an effort by McKenna to at least get one out in the inning. So a fielder's choice will go to JT Walden. English is out on the play at second base. Cade McGee, will advance to third on the play. So runners at the corners with 2 away here in the top of the first. Lopez trying to escape the inning unscathed. Lopez takes a deep breath, kicks and deals. That one's going to go high above the lettering on the inside portion of the plate for ball number 1. Pioneers half a game back on the Fremont move. Pioneers are 3-1 this season. The move 4-1. Having played an extra game, pitch will go high again, right about chin high for a 2-0 count. Lopez looks into his catcher. The pitch catches right down the middle of the plate for strike number 1. 2 balls and 1 strike. Couple of practice swings by Michael Felton, the first baseman. Went 2 for 5 yesterday, a walk and a strikeout on his line as well. Lopez, another pitch goes inside, barely missing the inside corner of the plate. 3 balls and 1 strike. Lopez looking into the catcher, kicks and deals. High pop fly, chasing after it's Cardoso into the shallow infield. Cardoso can't make the catch. Coming in to score will be Cade McGee. The play at third base is not in time, as in there safely is JT Walden. A base hit for Michael Felton. A tough play for Cardoso at third. So the Pioneers start this game with an early run. They weren't able to score until the 5th inning. So Coach Garcia has to be happy with the progress scoring in the top of the 1st inning. So the base hit will bring up Kip Gronholz, the right fielder. He was yesterday's leadoff batter. Was put down 6 spots in the batting order. He'll take the first pitch for a called strike number 1. An 0-1 count to Kip Gronholz, the right fielder. Caden Edwards on deck. Gronholz has to dive out of the way of a pitch inside, evens the count at 1-1. Lopez fires inside. Another pitch missing inside for Lopez. Has not missed his location up, down, or outside much in his outing so far. Most of the balls that he has missed have been on the inside part of the plate, mostly to right-handed batters. Pitch goes high, just above the lettering for ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike for Adrian Lopez. Runners at the corners and 2 gone for the Pioneers. A swing and a short chopper up the first baseline. It will go foul. So that will make the count full with 3 balls and 2 strikes. Taking the jog back to third base is JT Walden. Gronholz went 1 for 4 yesterday, had 2 RBIs, 2 strikeouts, and 2 walks. A swing and a miss, and a strikeout gets the Pierre Trappers and Adrian Lopez out of the inning relatively unscathed. They do allow a run, but in the top of the 1st inning, the Pierre Trappers will have a chance to bat in the bottom of the 1st. When we return here on the Pierre Trappers YouTube and Mixler live streams, we'll be right back. Dan-O's Marine is a proud partner of Pierre Trappers Baseball. Located at 320 St. Charles Street, Dan-O's provides service on your boat to get you back out on the water in the dog days of summer. Give them a call at 605-224-6900 6612. That's Dano's Marine at 605-224-6612. Any water, any problem, Dano's Marine. Bottom of the second inning coming from Hyde Stadium here in South Dakota's state capital as the Pioneers take on the Trappers for Game 2 of this quick two-game set. Pioneers will have their first inning defensively, and here's how they line up in the field. In the outfield from left to right, it will be Edwards, Walden, and Gronholz. The third baseman is McGee. In the infield, the shortstop, Frank. The second baseman, Cutter, and the first baseman, Felton. And the battery for the Pioneers will be Broxterman on the mound and English behind the plate. Teddy Broxterman in his third appearance. He's pitched in 3.2 innings so far this season, has not allowed a base hit, has not allowed a run. Pitched last season for Western Nebraska, had a 4-0 record with a 5.40 ERA in 16 games and 5 starts. So Broxterman looking to continue a great season for the Pios last season into this 2021 season. Of course, only 6 teams competed last season. There are now 12 in the league after COVID and expansion took place. Leading things off for the Trappers is Tyler Skelton. The rest of the Trappers lineup will have Cordes second, Strong third, Cardoso fourth, Perez fifth, Newman 6th, Reinhardt 7th, Osborne 8th, and McKenna batting 9th. Tyler Skelton, the team leader in batting average, will lead things off for the Pierre Trappers. He'll take the first pitch low for ball number 1. Skelton, the last 2 games, has really exploded for the Pierre Trappers. Went 3 for 6 yesterday and had a similar 3 for 6 game in Game 2 against Hastings. He rocks a .412 batting average coming into today's game against the Pioneers. Ground ball up the third base line for strike number 1 will even the count at 1-1. Skelton, Cordes, and Strong due up for the Pierre Trappers in inning number 1. Trappers were able to score 5 on 8 hits yesterday, helped out by 8 errors in the field by Western Nebraska. Broxterman, the left-hander for the Pioneers, sets and deals a breaking ball high above the lettering for ball 2. So a 2-1 count to the leadoff batter, Skelton. Skelton did strike out and come around to score yesterday. That's a line drive. That will be a base hit into center field. Tyler Skelton is on with a leadoff base hit and a good start for the Pierre Trappers. Skelton reached yesterday on a leadoff base hit. So back-to-back games for Tyler Skelton with a leadoff single.
The left fielder, number 3, Braden Cordes.
Now the Trappers, unfortunately for them, left 17 runners on base yesterday. They'll try to control that today. Coach said in his post-game interview yesterday that it was their goal to only leave 5 runners on base all day yesterday. Obviously did not meet that mark. It will bring up Braden Cordes, the left fielder, batting .222. First pitch will be taken low for a ball. Cordes went 1 for 5 yesterday with a single in the 9th inning when the game was already out of hand in favor of Western Nebraska. Pitch on the outside part of the plate taken for strike number 1. Evens the count at 1 ball, 1 strike. Skelton aboard with a single and nobody gone in the bottom of the first inning. First base hit of the year allowed by Teddy Broxterman in the leadoff man Skelton. Pitch taken outside, ball 2. Broxterman was both the Game 1 and Game 3 reliever in the Pioneers series against Casper. A ground ball to the third baseman. That's going to be a 5-4. It could have been a 5-4-3 double play, but the first baseman in Felton was unable to come up with it. So although the first baseman in Felton couldn't come up with the baseball, it was going to be beat out by Cordes anyway, so trading a base runner for a base runner in place of Skelton is now Cordes at first base for the Pierre Trappers. And we'll bring up Nicholas Strong. Strong, the first baseman today for the Trappers, bats third with a 167 average. First pitch is taken for ball one. Strong went 1 for 5 yesterday. Did strike out 3 times, but when making contact with the ball, batting .500 when putting it in play. Big swing and a miss for strike number 1 as Strong looking to drive that ball into the outfield with Cordes standing at second base. Cardoso on deck, Perez in the hole. 1 away in the inning. Western Nebraska with a early 1-0 lead. That one will be a fly ball deep to right field. Making the play on it will be Gronholz, and retreating back to first base is Braden Cordes. So Strong, a deep fly out to right field. Cordes stays where he is, so now a 2 away in the inning. It will bring up the third baseman, number 33, in Caden Cardoso. Cardoso drawing 3 walks yesterday. His on-base percentage shot up after a 1 for 3 performance with 3 walks in yesterday's game against the Pioneers. A high foul ball will head out of play, stay in the ballpark, avoiding Capitol Avenue. No balls, 1 strike to Cardoso with Cordes standing at first base. Cardoso, the lone Trapper this season with a home run. He hit his opening day against the Hastings Sodbusters. Pitch taken for strike number 2. Cardoso at third base defensively tonight. The first time that he'll get there as a starter. Stolen base attempt, and sliding in safely is Braden Cordes. But it was a called strike number 3, so the stolen base does not matter as Cardoso goes down on strikes. The end of the first inning with the Western Nebraska Pioneers up 1-0. We'll be right back for the second inning here on the Pierre Trappers YouTube and Mixlr live streams.
The Governor's Inn is the exclusive motel partner of the Pierre Trappers. Check out the special Trappers rate for your visit to Pierre and Hyde Stadium this summer. Call 605-224-4200 directly to get the Trappers rate. With free wireless internet, a deluxe breakfast, and an indoor pool and hot tub, there's no reason not to stop at the Governor's Inn.
Second inning here from Hyde Stadium. The Western Nebraska Pioneers off to an early start with a 1-0 lead off an RBI single last inning by Michael Felton. They'll have the bottom of the order due up with the 7, 8, 9, and Edwards, Hergert, and Cutter due up. Edwards getting his first start in 3 games. Last appeared in their second game of the Casper Horsehead series back in Gering, Nebraska. In that game, he went 1 for 3 with a couple walks and a strikeout. First pitch to Edwards catches the outside part of the plate for strike number 1. Adrian Lopez returns to his second inning of work. He was allowed to do that in his first start as well, but was pulled after a lightning delay. Stopped the game in the second inning a couple games ago for the Trappers against Hastings. Pitch goes inside for ball 1 to the left-handed batter in Caden Edwards. Edwards playing in 2 games this season, comes into today's game against the Trappers batting 143. First road series for the Pioneers and starting off with a win last night. Ball goes low below the knees, 2 balls, 1 strike. Lopez takes a look inside, gets the sign. Sets, kicks, and deals. That will be a foul ball straight back into the screen on the third base side for strike 2. Evens the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes to the lefty Edwards. Edwards went 1 for 3 in Game 2 against Casper. On opening day, he went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. He went 1 for 7 in that series. A swing and a miss as Edwards goes down on strikes, the second punch out of the day and second in a row for Adrian Lopez. It will bring up Ethan Hergert with 1 away here in the top of the second inning. Hergert, the designated hitter, coming in from the field, he was yesterday's left fielder. He went 1 for 5 yesterday, crossed the plate 3 times. A ground ball to the first baseman. Strong will pick it up, but it will be called a foul ball. They're saying it went off the plate. Will go down for strike number 1. So it will be Hergert now back in after the first pitch was fouled off the plate. No balls, 1 strike, 1 away in the top of the second inning for Western Nebraska. Lopez deals high and outside for ball number 1. Around 300 to around 350 in attendance at Hyde Stadium. Ground ball chopped to the first baseman. Strong will take it himself. Steps on the bag for out number 2. 2 quick outs for the Pierre Trappers will bring up the 9-hole batter in Clay Cutter. Cutter got into yesterday's game as a defensive substitution at third base when Jake McGee came into pitch. In Cutter's lone at bat yesterday, he was able to double. Went down as a 2 RBI double in the 9th inning. So trying to reciprocate that success today in the starting lineup. First pitch to Cutter runs inside for ball number 1. Second pitch to Cutter is low and away. Misses the strike zone again. 2 balls, no strikes. So a 2-0 count. Adrian Lopez kicks and deals a swing, fouled back onto the Hyde Stadium sign into the crowd. And making the catch from his seat is a fan who tosses it back to the dugout. So 2 balls, 1 strike to Clay Cutter, the 9-hole batter and the starting second baseman for the Pioneers. Pitch taken on the outside part of the plate. 3 balls, 1 strike. Dalton Frank on deck should Cutter get on. Lopez fires outside for ball 4. The second walk of the day drawn by the Pioneers and another base runner on. So with 2 away, Cutter will reach and bring up Dalton Frank, the shortstop, who's 0 for 1 after he flew out to left field in his previous at-bat last inning. Frank had a big day batting from the 8th hole yesterday. Went 3 for 4. He'll take the first pitch high for ball 1. Went 3 for 4 and was able to cross the plate 4 times. Got aboard by a fielder's choice and a walk as well in yesterday's game. A check swing. No appeal for ball 2. Frank going 3 for 11
in the Pioneers' last series against Casper, but found success yesterday against the Trappers. Runner going. The throw down to second is not in time. A stolen base by Clay Cutter as Western Nebraska continues their perfect season stealing bases. They are now 15 for 15 on the season. So Cutter gets into scoring position, the second consecutive inning that the Pioneers have put a runner into scoring position, with Frank batting. A 3-0 count to Dalton Frank, a swing, and that's going to be a high pop fly. Heading under it is Cordes in left field, and Cordes will make the catch for out number 3. Back-to-back flyouts to left by Dalton Frank leaves a runner stranded at second. The Pierre Trappers down a run will try to strike back in the bottom of the second when we return here on the Pierre Trappers YouTube and Mixlr live streams.
Total Beauty and Speedway Laundry are your homes for everything clothing in the capital area. Since 2010, Total Beauty has offered great customer service and competitive prices. Next door at Speedway Laundry, they have you covered for a fast, convenient way to wash and dry your clothes and other household items, including king-size comforters. Visit them at 111 First Street in Fort Pierre.
Bottom of the second inning on tap here from Hyde Stadium. And after a scoreless inning by the Trappers in the bottom of the first, the Pioneers will now have to take on the 5, 6, 7 part of the order, taking on Perez, Newman, and Reinhardt. Perez getting a jump up in the batting order. He was batting 8th yesterday, batting 5th. His on-deck batter, Jacob Newman, also coming up in the batting order from 9th to 6th. So Perez will lead things off here in the bottom of the second inning with the Trappers down by a run after the Pioneers plated one in the top half of the first inning. Broxterman remains on the mound. First pitch is going to go low, just below the knees. In fact, Setacase looked like he was about to call a strike but held back. So a 1-0 count. That's going to be a pop fly into shallow right field. It will drop for a foul ball. 3 Pioneers went over to cover that in Cutter, Felton, and Gronholz. The second baseman, first baseman, and right fielder respectively puts the count at 1-1. Contact went off the high part of the plate, or excuse me, the high part of the bat that caused the pop fly into shallow right, but thankfully for Perez's sake, it did not end up in a leather glove. Perez, tonight's designated hitter for the Pierre Trappers. He'll take a pitch low and away for ball 2. Works himself ahead in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. So with 2-1 count, Broxterman fires, fouled off the bat into the screen, evens the count at 2-2. Broxterman spits on the mound, lets the arm hang. Finally sets, kicks and deals a pitch on the high inside part of the plate, puts the count full. Final game of what turned out to be a 4-game homestand for the Pierre Trappers. They'll head on the road after a day of rest tomorrow. Pitch by Broxterman goes high. A leadoff walk puts a runner on, and for the second consecutive inning for the Pierre Trappers, they have the leadoff man aboard. It will bring up the right fielder in Jacob Newman. Newman batting .222, went 0 for 3 yesterday, reaching on an error twice.
had an RBI in yesterday's game against the Pioneers as well, including a walk and a strikeout looking. First pitch by Broxterman. Newman lines this one into right field. That one will head out of the stadium for strike number 1. Good contact and a good line drive for Newman, but unfortunately for Trappers fans, it was hooking too far to the right side. A big swing and miss by Newman. Again, strike number 2. So 2 pitches, 2 swings for Newman. A foul ball and a swing and a miss. The 0-2 count with Perez standing at first. Brock Reinhardt on deck. The pitch, that's a pop fly into shallow right field. That one will go foul. Chasing after it was Gronholz, but was unable to get to the ball. Newman stays alive in the at-bat with no balls and 2 strikes. Newman out of the box. Broxterman climbs back up onto the mound, steps back on rubber. Newman does a couple of hops on his knees before setting back in for the next pitch of the at-bat. Broxterman winds up and deals. That's going to be a line drive. That will get through the right side. That's a base hit for Jacob Newman. Newman will single here in the bottom of the second. Pushes a runner into scoring position as Perez will advance to second base. It will bring up Brock Reinhardt, tonight's catcher for the Pierre Trappers. As I mentioned earlier, his first start at catcher since opening day past Tuesday. So Reinhardt bats in a big position now with a runner in scoring position and nobody out. Reinhardt went 0 for 4 yesterday with an RBI and 3 strikeouts. First pitch to him will go outside for ball 1. Reinhardt taking the current at-bat. Osborne on deck. Reinhardt with a bat waggle. Taking off for third is Perez. The throw down is not in time. Perez dives head first. And it seems like he ran straight into the bag. Almost did a somersault off the third base bag, and it was a double steal by the Pierre Trappers. Perez will advance to second base. Third base, Newman will advance to second. And after 2 stolen bases in 3 games combined for the Pierre Trappers, they will double their stolen base amount on 1 play. Perez looks like he's okay, checked out by Coach Haybager. Pitch goes in for strike number 1. Runners at second and third, nobody out. Brock Reinhardt at the dish. Broxterman checking out Newman at second. The pitch, a fly ball heading well foul. Over the fence next to the Pioneers dugout and out of play. A 2-2 count. 2 runners in scoring position. Reinhardt at the dish, Osborne on deck. Newman stands at second, Perez at third as the Trappers try to strike back down by a run here in the bottom of the second. Check swing, it will head off the bat, keeps the count where it is at 2-2. Reinhardt was right to check up as it looked like that was going to be a ball low, but ran into the bat for a foul ball. Broxterman steps onto the mound, checks on Newman at second base again, and another foul ball. This one will head onto Capitol Street and bounces off the street and into the Capitol Pond, which reflects the South Dakota State Capitol building. Reinhardt again with a 2-2 count, time called by the home plate umpire. Winds going today from dead to blowing from left to right, depending on when the wind decides to blow, but it's been mostly calm today. A swing and a miss as Reinhardt will go down on strikes. He had 3 yesterday and not a great start for him as he'll be punched out on his first plate appearance. So we'll bring up the center fielder, number 16, Bennett Osborne. Osborne coming into the center field position after Braden Sorge went down with a high leg injury yesterday after coming home from third on a sacrifice fly in the 7th inning. Osborne in his lone at-bat yesterday struck out, so he went 0 for 1. First pitch to him will head inside. Today is also Bennett Osborne's birthday as he tries to celebrate his 20th birthday with a base hit and an RBI here. A 1-0 count. Broxterman checking on Newman at second again. A swing and a miss by Osborne evens the count at 1-1. Osborne, a native of South Dakota, growing up in Redfield. Broxterman, a deep breath, kicks and deals. A swing and fouled back into the screen for strike 2. A 1-2 count to Osborne, again celebrating his 20th today from Hyde Stadium. Broxterman fires outside part of the plate, evens the count at 2-2. Osborne, as well as looking for a base hit on his birthday, is looking for his first base hit of the season as he's yet to come up with one. Broxterman kicks and fires straight back, just escaping the screen, as that will roll back out of play, a foul ball. Osborne doing a good job of spoiling away pitches by Broxterman, not only keeping himself alive in this at-bat, but working up Broxterman's pitch count here in the second. The 2-2 goes low as Osborne is able to work the count full, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Sacrifice fly is still in effect with 1 away in the inning. Thomas McKenna on deck for the Pierre Trappers. Osborne a strike away from a strikeout and a ball away from a walk. And he's heading to first base as he's called out on strikes. Back-to-back strikeouts by Teddy Broxterman take away the sacrifice fly. So now McKenna needing to at least get on to advance the inning, a base hit to score a run from third. McKenna in his lone at-bat this season was able to get a base hit. So he's one of the few batters in the Expedition League batting 1,000 right now with a sample size of just 1. The native of Spokane, Washington will swing at the first pitch back into the screen, narrowly avoiding the on-deck batter Tyler Skelton. McKenna getting the start at second base, not his natural position. Used to the catcher spot as he started there in Game 2 against the Hastings Sodbusters. He'll get the start in Game 2 of this series against the Pios. So an 0-1 count to McKenna after he fouled it into the screen down the first baseline. Takes the pitch for ball number 1. In McKenna's lone other start, also did walk 2 times, so on 3 plate appearances, reached on all 3. Another pitch taken on the inside part of the plate. McKenna now ahead in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. As well as playing baseball for both the Trappers and Spokane Falls Community College in the regular season, McKenna runs a YouTube channel called Tom Talk Sports with around 750 subscribers as he spoils a pitch behind to even the count at 2-2. I was watching his video from his road trip from Spokane to Pierre, and according to that video, he'll be vlogging this entire season from the player's perspective. So it'll be interesting to watch McKenna's journey through his eyes this entire season for the Trappers. The 2-2, McKenna gets this one to the third baseman. The throw from McGee is in time for out number 3 as Western Nebraska gets out of a jam. The Trappers leave runners stranded at second and third. We'll be back for the third inning with the Pioneers holding a 1-0 lead when we come back here on the Pierre Trappers YouTube and Mixler live streams.
You don't need an illness to need a doctor. You don't need to feel sick to feel better. You don't need to be unwell to get well. What you do need is a primary care provider at Sanford Health. Better healthcare starts with regular wellness visits and a familiar face who knows you, your concerns, and your goals. We're here before you need us. We're here when you need us. We're here after you need us. We're here for you. Find your primary care provider at sanfordhealth.org today. Sanfordhealth.org today. Sanfordhealth.org today.
Third inning about to get underway here from Hyde Stadium. The Pierre Trappers left 2 runners stranded. They got runners to second and third with nobody away, but after a couple of strikeouts to Brock Reinhardt and Bennett Osborne, Thomas McKenna, what would have been an RBI groundout, turned into just a groundout with 2 away in the inning. So leading things off here for the Western Nebraska Pioneers will be the 2-3-4. Cade McGee, Jake English, and JT Walden due up. Pitch goes low for ball number 1 to Cade McGee. McGee was hit by a pitch last time out in the first inning, came around to score on the Michael Felton RBI single. Pitch goes outside and low for ball number 2. So a 2-0 count as Adrian Lopez returns for his third inning of work. Was able to get out of last inning relatively unscathed, as that's going to be a single through the third base side, gets in between both Skelton and Cardoso, covering third and short. So a leadoff runner gets on for the first time today for Western Nebraska. That will bring up Jake English. English also got on by a plate appearance and not an at-bat as he walked in the first inning. Was out between the bases off a JT Walden fielder's choice. First pitch taken for strike number 1. So Lopez, with nobody away in the inning, is going to have to deal with a base runner at first in McGee. McGee taking a leadoff first. Pickoff attempt, but it was a lob. Just trying to keep McGee honest. And now down the left field line, action beginning in the Western Nebraska bullpen. High pop fly into foul territory, heading over our heads and thumping off the press box. We'll move the count to no balls and 2 strikes. It looks like in the Western Nebraska bullpen, it's number 12 in Jake Lewis Miller, who came in and pitched yesterday, Runner going. It's a hit and run. Fly ball into right field, dropping in front of Newman. Newman misses the ball and will have to chase it down onto the warning track. Rounding third and coming home is Cade McGee, and a no-out RBI double by Jake English puts the Pioneers on the board again. They lead 2-0. So after an RBI double that scores another run for Western Nebraska, they'll bring up JT Walden. Walden reached on a fielder's choice, was able to get to third before he was stranded. Previous play on the English double, McGee getting home from first base. First pitch to JT Walden, taken for strike number 1. Second time this game that McGee has been the runner crossing the plate for the Pioneers. Pitch running inside to Walden for ball number 1, evens the count at 1-1. Lopez checks over at English on second, deals a big cut, roll to the backstop, but a foul ball keeps English where he is at second base. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lopez trying to strike out his third batter of the ball game. Another check over at English at second. And fires a ground ball to the second baseman. McKenna picks it up, fires onto first in time for the out. A 4-3 ground out will advance Jake English over to third base. And a runner now 90 feet away for Western Nebraska with 1 away in the inning. And in fact, it is not Miller in the Western Nebraska bullpen, but it is number 11 in Charlie Deeds, who was yesterday's starting second baseman. Lopez gets ready, pauses on his leg, and a swing barely fouled off for strike number 1. Half swing outside of the box, steps back in with an 0-1 count. Potential sacrifice situation here for Felton. Pitch by Lopez outside for ball 1, evens the count at 1-1 with 1 out here in the top of the third inning with Western Nebraska leading 2-0. Another pitch goes outside of the strike zone for ball number 2, 2 balls and 1 strike. So a 2-1 with English standing at third. Felton will foul this one back off the welcome sign and back onto the field. Foul ball goes for strike number 2, evening the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Kip Gronholz due up for on deck for Western Nebraska. Broxterman, a typical reliever. Pitch goes high. Broxterman, a typical reliever, which is potentially why we're seeing action in the Pioneers dugout so early in this game. So now with the ball, a full count goes to Michael Felton with a runner standing at third base. Lopez fires a ground ball going foul. Cardoso went after it. It will end up being picked up by the bullpen crew down the left field line. So Felton spoils off the first pitch with a full count. And the second payoff pitch going to come from Adrian Lopez. Gets the sign. Stands, kicks, and fires. And a fly ball into center field, chasing back on it. And there to make the catch is Osborne. It is deep enough to score English from third, So 2 away in the inning. It was an extremely deep fly ball by Felton. Osborne was able to get there to make the catch on the warning track for out number 2 as the Pioneers extend their lead 3-0. So it will be Kip Gronholz, the right fielder who struck out swinging in his previous at-bat, the new batter. He'll take the first pitch for strike number 1. Taps the bat on the plate. Lopez, now with the bases empty, fires on the outside part of the plate for ball number 1. A 1-1 count to Kip Gronholz. Gronholz went 1 for 4 yesterday, 2 RBIs, 2 strikeouts, 2 walks. Pitch in the dirt, rolls to the backstop, and that's a moment where the Trappers are thankful that nobody was on the base paths for the Pioneers. Count will run to 2-1. This inning after 2 runners reached on back-to-back hits. A ground ball to the shortstop. Skelton picks it up, fires onto first base in time for the out. So a 6-3 groundout ends the inning, but not before the Pioneers are able to plate 2 runs as they now lead 3-0 here in the middle of the 3rd inning. The Trappers will try to at least make a dent in their deficit when we return for the bottom of the 3rd inning here on the Pierre Trappers YouTube and Mixlr live streams. Trappers fans, summer is here. Get your boat back in shape with a visit to Dano's Marine. Dano's Marine will get you back out on the water this summer with excellent service and years of experience. Give them a call at 605-224-6612 or visit them at 320 St. Charles Street in Pierre. Any water, any problem, Dano's Marine. Bottom of the 3rd inning on deck. We saw in the bullpen last inning, Charlie Deeds warming up in the bullpen. He will indeed make the substitution as the new pitcher for Western Nebraska. He was yesterday's second baseman, was excluded from the starting lineup. He does have pitching experience this season for the Pioneers. In relief in Game 2 against the Casper Horseheads, pitched 3 1/3 innings, allowed 4 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned, walked 2, struck out 4, and ended up being the winning pitcher in that affair. So a 1-0 record with an 8.10 ERA in 1 pitching appearance this season. So Broxterman is going to go 2 innings in the start. He will end up with a no decision. Top of the order due up for the Pierre Trappers, Skelton, Cordes, and Strong. Skelton, one of 2 Trappers today to have a base hit. It's him and Jacob Newman. Skelton has been on a tear the past 3 games. If you exclude opening day, he's batting over 500. And now a pop fly into foul territory. Heading into the crowd, where a kid will pick it up and send it to the dugout. Pitch is taken for ball 1, evening the count at 1 ball, 1 strike. So Deeds, that's going to be a fly ball into shallow right field, and making the play on it is Kip Gronholz for the first out. So 1 away quickly. The first time today that the Trappers have not had their leadoff batter get on. It will bring up Braden Cordes, who reached on a fielder's choice. First pitch swinging. It's a high pop up into foul territory. And just unable to get to it was the pitcher in Deeds. The pitcher, catcher, and first baseman all came right to where the on-deck circle is for the Pierre Trappers, but were unable to come up with it. A decent amount of foul territory here at Hyde Stadium as well. So Cordes will start with an 0-1 count. The swing to the third baseman, McGee, fires onto first for out number 2. So Deeds quickly working through the top part of the order for the Pierre Trappers, and that will bring up Nicholas Strong, the first baseman. Strong signed his player contract within the last 2 weeks as one of the more recent additions to the Pierre Trappers roster, but he was able to show up early into the season while the Trappers still wait for around 10 to 15 players to show up in town. With 2 away in the inning, first pitch from Deeds. Fastball taken on the outside part for ball number 1. Strong flew out to right last time. He'll take a strike down the center of the plate for strike number 1, which evens the count at 1-1. And now a big swing and a miss by Strong puts him behind in the count 0-2. Strong, a native of Fairfield, California, fouls this one straight back into the screen. Had an interesting fun fact about his hometown of Fairfield. It's one of 3 Jelly Belly factories are placed there. It's also the original factory for Jelly Belly, as they'll take a pitch inside for ball 2, evening the count. Also, one of 12 Budweiser factories in the country located in Fairfield. So a lot of production coming out of Fairfield, California. Strong trying to be the next big name to come out of that town. Pitch by Deeds taken outside, works the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with Caden Cardoso on deck for the Trappers. A swing and fouling it back, keeping the at-bat alive is Strong. Strong flew out to right in his previous at-bat after a 1-for-5 performance yesterday. In 5 at-bats yesterday, Strong struck out in 3 of those at-bats. Pitch runs inside. Strong has to duck out of the way. It goes for ball number 4. So a runner gets on, a potential 2-out rally in the works for the Pierre Trappers with Caden Cardoso coming to the plate. And with Cardoso's power that we saw on opening day, another long ball could make this a 1-run ball game with the Trappers down by 3 runs early in today's ball game. Cardoso, also the lone Canadian player on the Trappers roster from the province of British Columbia. First pitch taken for ball number 1. Final game of this 2-game set between Western Nebraska and Pierre. The Pioneers took game 1. A big swing and a miss by Cardoso evens the count at 1-1. The Pioneers took game 1 yesterday by a final of 14-5. The Trappers trying to split the 2-game series. Ball comes inside and low for Cardoso. He goes ahead in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. Cardoso, no stranger to the free pass as he walked 3 times in yesterday's game against the Pioneers. That will be a fly ball into left field. Reaching to make the catch in an awkward position was Edwards making the catch on it, but it will end the inning. The Trappers get a runner on but can't get him past first base as the Western Nebraska Pioneers lead 3-0 through the first third of this ballgame. Innings 4, 5, and 6 on deck when we come back here on the Pierre Trappers YouTube and Mixler live streams. And at this time, we'd like to thank sponsors for the 2021 Pierre Trappers season, including Avera, Leisure Palace, Lariat Lanes, La Minestra, L&M Barbershop, Long Branch, Oahe Pawn, Capital Sports, Big Tom's Diner, Beck Motors, and Gators Pizza. Thank you for continuing to be sponsors of the 2021 Pierre Trappers baseball season. Adrian Lopez returns on the mound for his fourth inning of work with the Western Nebraska Pioneers leading 3-0 here in the top of the fourth inning. The Pioneers trying to add some more runs onto their total for some insurance. The Trappers scoring 5 runs yesterday. Their season high is 9 when they fell 23-9 in the second game of the Hastings series. So it will be the 7-8-9 due up for Western Nebraska. Caden Edwards, Ethan Hergert, and Clay Cutter. Leading off the fourth inning is Caden Edwards, who takes the first pitch outside for ball number 1. Edwards struck out swinging in his previous at-bat, started today's ball game 0 for 1 for his second plate appearance today. Pitch goes outside, puts the count at 2 balls and no strikes. Lopez looks in, lifts the leg and fires a ground ball. Picking it up will be Tyler Skelton, firing onto first and in time for out number 1. A 6-3 ground out for Caden Edwards in the first ball that he has put in play today. So we'll bring up the 8th hole, the designated hitter number 35 and Ethan Hergert. Hergert grounded out to the first baseman strong, unassisted in the second inning. Lopez fires a ground ball, goes foul. Rolling up the dirt portion of the field that leads from the Pierre Trappers dugout to home plate. An 0-1 count to Ethan Hergert. Hergert, yesterday's starting left fielder. He'll be moved out of the field today. Strike number 2 called. So an 0-2 count to the DH. Lopez takes a pause, lifts the leg and fires inside on the inside part of the plate for ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Hergert. Clay Cutter on deck for Western Nebraska. And that pitch will catch plate for strike number 3. Hergert goes down looking. It's Lopez's third punch out of the ball game. So 2 quick outs come here in the top of the 4th inning. Similar to the second inning when the Pioneers had 2 quick outs, but were then able to get a runner on in Clay Cutter, who walked in his previous appearance. Cutter will now get his second plate appearance here in the 4th. First pitch on the inside portion of the plate, but called strike number 1. Cutter tried to act out a ball by leaning back, but it was called by the home plate umpire in Paul Sedekase. Lopez fires same location and the same call by Sedekase for strike number 2. We'll see if Lopez tries to go to the same spot. Kicks and fires. That one swung on. It looked like the same location. And bobbling the ball is Tyler Skelton. Can't come up with it. It will go down as an E6. It's the 4th time Skelton's committed an error this season. So the lineup card flips over for Western Nebraska to bring up Dalton Frank. He's 0 for 2 with 2 flyouts to the left fielder Cordes. So Western Nebraska gets a runner on for the 4th inning in a row. It will be Frank's job to try to advance. Runner goes and pops up of Reinhardt's glove. Cutter thought about taking off for third base once he saw that it got away from Reinhardt, but will settle in scoring position. It's Cutter's 2nd stolen bag. He got on by a walk last time. He reached on an error this time. Got into scoring position both times by swiping a bag. The Pioneers continue their perfect run of stolen base attempts. Now Lopez staring down Cutter at second. Cutter's taking off for third. The throw down, and it pulled Cardoso off the bag. It will go down as a stolen base. The 3rd stolen base of the day by Clay Cutter. Runner 90 feet away. So a 2-0 count for Frank. Starting 0 for 2 after a 3 for 4 performance yesterday. Lopez kicks and fires. That one will catch plate for strike number 1 as Lopez tries to work himself back into the count. 2 balls and 1 strike. So a 2-1 count. A Pioneer stands 90 feet away from home. Pitch taken outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. Cutter, a native of Centennial, Colorado. Plays his regular season baseball for the Iowa Western Reavers. Pitch will go high. And that one will go for ball 3. Believe the new count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So with a full count, big spot here for Lopez to try to get out of the inning with a runner at third. Half swing. It was a check swing that was in play. Lopez will tag the runner between the bases. It will go down as a 1 unassisted as that ends the Pioneers' half of the 4th inning. The Trappers will try to get on the board for the first time today and cut into their 3-0 deficit when we return here on the Pure Trappers YouTube and Mixler live streams. Join the Shell's loyalty program and never pay full price for gas again. Shell's loyalty members also get monthly specials for increased savings. Shell's doesn't just fill up your tank, but it also fills up your stomach with a variety of food and drinks. Become a Loyalty Club member today by visiting Shell's at 621 Sioux Avenue or give them a call at 605-224-6266. Bottom of the fourth inning on tap here from Hyde Stadium. The Trappers have been able to get 2 base hits today in the first and second innings. Got a runner to third in the second, but other than that, it's been a relatively quiet day. It will be the 5, 6, 7 part of the order due up for the Trappers with Perez, Newman, and Reinhardt due up. In fact, it was this portion of the order that led off the second inning that allowed a runner in Perez to get to third. The Trappers just couldn't bring him home. They'll try to reverse history and do the same thing here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Returning for his second inning of work is Charlie Deeds, wearing number 11 for the Western Nebraska Pioneers. He had a pretty painless bottom half of the third inning. Last inning, only allowing a walk to Nicholas Strong. But leading off the bottom half of the fourth inning was number 13, Brendan Perez. Perez reached on a walk and was able to get to third base. Pitch is taken high above the lettering on the inside portion of the plate for ball number 1. That's a high fly ball into left field. That one is deep. Does it have enough? No, it's off the wall, hitting off the Governor's inside in left center field. Just a few feet away from a home run was Brendan Perez, as he'll get on with a leadoff double. I think a lot of people in this ballpark thought it might have been out of here, but just hitting off the Governor's inside in deep left center. Ball traveling maybe around 360 feet. It was a few feet to the left of the 383 sign in left center. It will bring up Jacob Newman, who's 1 for 1 today. First pitch to Newman is in there for a called strike number 1. Checking over at second base is Deeds. Pitch goes inside for ball number 1, evening the count at 1-1. Newman, for not expecting to play this season when he came to Pierre, South Dakota from Brandeis University, has done a great job stepping into the order as a fill-in outfielder. Newman will drive this one to center field. Making the catch on it is Walden. The throw down to third, however, Perez stayed where he is at second base. It will bring up Brock Reinhardt with 1 away in the inning. Perez still stands at second base with a leadoff double. Reinhardt 0 for 1 with a strikeout swinging his last at bat. That will be a foul ball onto Capitol, avoiding any cars parked on the street. Reinhardt at bat. Bennett Osborne on deck with 1 away in the inning, the 0-1. That's a ground ball. Gets past the first baseman. Rounding third and coming home is Brendan Perez. Picking up the ball is Gronholz. Gronholz struggles with it, but it doesn't matter as Perez is in to score, and the Trappers have their first run of the ball game off an RBI single by Brock Reinhardt. So the Trappers get on the board here in the bottom of the fourth inning. They're still down 3-1 to Western Nebraska. But Bennett Osborne will step in, still looking for his first base hit of the season. Osborne tries to lay down a bunt, but it comes in too hot as it rolls foul down the first baseline. No balls and 1 strike. Osborne looking what I'm only assuming would have been a sacrifice bunt to get to Thomas McKenna, to put Brock Reinhardt into scoring position as well. A swing and a miss at a pitch in the dirt for strike number 2. Charlie Deeds letting a run get home this inning Runner still at first base. Pitch taken for ball number 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 away here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Western Nebraska still leading 3-1 over the hometown team, the Pierre Trappers. A check over at first base. Deeds deals low and outside on a breaking ball. Evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Current line score 3 runs on 3 hits, no errors for Western Nebraska, 1 run on 4 hits, and 1 error for the Pierre Trappers. A fly ball into center field should be playable by Walden. Walden does in fact make the catch, his second putout of the inning. So with 2 away and a runner at first base, it will bring up Thomas McKenna, the second baseman wearing number 2 from Spokane Falls Community College in Spokane, Washington. McKenna came into today's game with 1 at-bat, singled, so came in batting 1,000 with a ground out to third last inning. His batting average has dropped in half to batting 500 on the season. First pitch is a big swing, but fouled back for strike number 1. So an 0-1 count to Thomas McKenna, 2 away in the inning. The Trappers did play to run this inning off an RBI single by Reinhardt. Pitch will fall into the strike zone for strike number 2. McKenna down in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Deeds a check over at first to check on Reinhardt. Reinhardt a lead of a few feet. The pitch is swung on. It was a high breaking ball that would have gone for a ball, but instead it's popped right up to the catcher in English for out number 3. So the pop out to the catcher will end the inning. The Trappers do play to run and now are down by just 2. We'll be back for the 5th inning when we return here on the Pierre Trappers YouTube and Mixlr live streams. And we'd like to thank a few more sponsors of the 2021 Pierre Trappers baseball season, including Red Rosa, Right Turn with Christensen Farms, the Oahe Family YMCA, Lutheran Memorial Church, Marco, Black Hills Federal Credit Union, Brockay Financial, Capital City Wine and Spirits, Chase Auto and RV, Cattlemen's Club, Floyd's Truck Center, Todd's Electric, the Paint Store 2, and the Field House. Thank you for continuing to be sponsors of the 2021 Pierre Trappers baseball season. Adrian Lopez will return on the mound for his 5th inning of work. Meanwhile, down the left field line in the Western Nebraska bullpen, another arm will be warming up. And that will be the designated hitter, and Ethan Hergert, wearing number 35, now warming up to get in the ballgame, what I would assume in the top half of the 5th inning. But Lopez, after pitching just 1 inning in his previous start, is heading into his 5th inning of work. He's allowed 3 runs, all 3 of which have been earned for Lopez in 4 innings. So action in the on the left field line in the Western Nebraska bullpen. Similarly, down the right field line in the Pierre Trappers bullpen, number 12, Tyler Lubin, begins to warm up and get loose to relieve Adrian Lopez in what I would assume the next inning. The 2-3-4 on deck for Western Nebraska: McGee, English, and Walden. McGee 1 for 1 today. He singled and was hit by a pitch. Pitch runs inside for ball 1. Second pitch of the at-bat will run high and inside. Both middle infielders playing right on the edge of the infield and outfield. That pitch taken and a called strike for strike number 1. 2 balls and 1 strike to the 5th inning's leadoff batter, Cade McGee. McGee reached base both plate appearances, came around to score on both those times as well. Lopez fires, catches, or does not catch the plate on the inside part, puts the count to 3 balls and 1 strike. Lopez in danger of losing the leadoff man, McGee. Only 2 walks for Lopez today, as a ground ball in foul territory will end up being fielded by Western Nebraska's bullpen catcher. Full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes after the foul ball. McGee, after an 0 for 5 performance at Hyde Stadium yesterday, got a base hit today. The pitch, that one will run inside. A leadoff walk. And the leadoff runner gets on for only the 2nd time today for Western Nebraska. Oddly enough, the other leadoff batter to get on was Cade McGee. So gets on for the 2nd time as the leadoff batter and as a perfect on-base percentage for the 3rd baseman playing in Gering, Nebraska this summer. Here comes Coach May out of the bullpen. Just giving a few words of encouragement to Adrian Lopez. And I'm sure it's in the back of the coach's mind as well, as every time McGee's been on base, he's come around to score. They definitely want to stop that happening for a 3rd consecutive time. So the walk drawn by McGee will bring up Jake English. English also 1 for 1, drawing a walk and an RBI double in his previous at-bat in the 3rd inning. Short warm-up session for the pitcher in Western Nebraska's bullpen. First pitch to the catcher English, a long look time eventually called by Paul Sedekase. And tapping the bat on the plate. Ready to take the first pitch of his at-bat is Jake English. First pitch to English will be inside. Ended up being dropped by Reinhardt behind the plate for ball number 1. It didn't get far enough that McGee thought he could take off for second base. So McGee still at first with nobody out. Another pitch low and pops out of Reinhardt's glove again, but he keeps it in front of him. English put up the stop sign to McGee to tell him not to advance to second base. Pitch from Lopez will catch the strike zone for strike number 1. 2 balls, 1 strike to the Pioneer in Jake English. Lopez, pickoff attempt. Back to the base in time is McGee. McGee not expecting the quick turn and throw by Lopez as he scrambled to get back to the bag. So a 2-1 count remains on Jake English with JT Walden on deck. Pitch runs high and inside. English has to duck out of the way to avoid getting hit. 3 balls and 1 strike. Lopez taking a look at the bases before stepping back on the rubber. Quick check to McGee. Winds up and deals. Runner going, but it will not matter as it will go for ball number 4. 2 consecutive walks surrendered by Adrian Lopez puts runners at second and third with nobody out. And it will bring up JT Walden. Walden had a great series against Casper came into Hyde Stadium and was just not able to produce anything as he went 0 for 5 with 2 strikeouts yesterday. He's currently 0 for 2 with a fielder's choice and a ground out to second base. Checking over at the runner, McGee at second base. Lopez fires first pitch, catches the strike zone for strike number 1. So an 0-1 count to Walden, the center fielder for the Pios. Another check over at McGee at second. Pitch runs high just above the lettering for ball 1. Evens the count, 1 ball, 1 strike here top of the 5th inning. Pioneers lead the Trappers 3-1 from Hyde Stadium. Nobody gone in the inning. A long look over at McGee at second. Pitch is taken high, same location as the last pitch. 2 balls, 1 strike. Lubin still warming up in the Trappers bullpen. Lopez continues to work through this inning. A fly ball into center field. Osborne chasing after it, but ending up making the catch as it was in left center field is Braden Cordes. So Cordes makes the catch. It's a fly out to left for JT Walden. He's 0 for 3 today after his hot start against the Horseheads. It will bring up Michael Felton. Felton 1 for 1 with a sacrifice fly that scored English from third in the 3rd inning. He'll step in with English at first and McGee at second with 1 away in the inning. Another long look at McGee at second base. Fires a swing and a foul ball right off the plate. No balls and 1 strike to Michael Felton. Felton batting 5th in the order as the first baseman today. Yesterday batted 5th, but as the catcher, he's one of the few Pioneers to stay where they are in the batting order between yesterday's starting lineup and today's. Lopez staring down McGee. McGee takes off for third. The throw down to third base. Cardoso with the tag, but it is not in time. A double steal puts McGee at third base and English at second. A double steal for Western Nebraska puts the count at 1 ball and 1 strike to Michael Felton. Sacrifice fly is in effect. Would score McGee from third. Pitch taken for a called strike number 2, and a strikeout would be huge here for Adrian Lopez, as it would take away the aforementioned sacrifice fly from the Pioneers' wheelhouse. 1-2, the pitch is fouled back close to the Trappers' dugout. Count remains at 1 ball and 2 strikes. As I mentioned, Felton does have a sacrifice fly earlier today that was able to score English from third. A sacrifice fly here would be scoring McGee from third. Lopez accepts the sign, takes a deep breath, kicks and deals on the outside part of the plate, evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Anything into the outfield would likely score Felton from third. Pitch half swing. They're going to appeal and say that he went around. So a big punch out for Adrian Lopez. It's going to be the 4th strikeout of his day, but it could not have come in a bigger time with the Trappers with the momentum. Scoring-wise, scoring in the bottom of the 4th inning. That takes away a potential sacrifice fly that would score the 4th runner for the Pioneers as they still lead 3-1. First pitch to Kip Gronholz is in for strike number 1. So an 0-1 count to Kip Gronholz. He's 0 for 2 today with a strikeout and a ground out to the shortstop. Pitch is in there again for strike number 2. 2 called strikes back-to-back to Gronholz as Lopez looks to get out of this inning with back-to-back punch-outs. Lopez accepts the sign. The windup and pitch on the outside part of the plate puts the first ball on the board, 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Lopez trying to punch out his second batter of the inning and escape the jam. Pop fly into foul territory. It will head into the prairie, where it will be collected as a souvenir by a kid here at Hyde Stadium. So the 1-2 count. Lopez trying to get out of this inning. Runners at second and third for Western Nebraska. Another foul ball. This one has a bit more power as it lands in the prairie yet again. 1-2 as Kip Gronholz is staying alive with a couple back-to-back foul balls. English stands at second. McGee stands at third for Western Nebraska. Gronholz trying to drive them in as he'll take a pitch low and outside for ball 2. A 2-2 count, 2 away in the inning. Lopez trying to stop the runners for the Pioneers from scoring that would extend the Pioneers' lead. Lopez kicks and deals. That's a fly ball into center field. Chasing after it is Osborne. Osborne reaches up and makes the catch. And after 2 runners get on by walks back-to-back to lead off the inning, a strikeout and a couple of flyouts end the Pioneers' half of the 5th inning. It's still 3-1. The Trappers will try to chip away into the Western Nebraska lead when we return for the bottom of the 5th inning here on the Pierre Trappers YouTube and Mixlr live streams.
The Pierre Trappers are proud to partner with the Governor's Inn, the exclusive motel partner of the Pierre Trappers. Call 605-224-4200 for a special Trappers rate when you visit Pierre and Hyde Stadium. Whether you're coming for the best hunting, fishing, and outdoor recreation in the Midwest, just passing through, or coming out to the ballpark, the Governor's Inn is the place for you.
Welcome back for the bottom of the 5th inning. Here from Hyde Stadium, the Pierre Trappers trying to work their way back. They scored a run in the bottom of the 4th inning to make this a 3-1 ball game, and they'd like to chip into that lead even more, potentially even tie or take the lead here in this frame. Pitching change for Western Nebraska. Now in the game is number 35 and Ethan Hergert, who was the designated hitter to start today's game. So an easy lineup change as that just flips from a DH to a P on the roster sheet. Hergert has pitched this season. He was the closer in Game 3 against against Casper. He pitched 1 1/3 innings, allowed 3 hits, no runs, walked 1, and struck out 4. That was a game for Western Nebraska in which they put in a bunch of position players to try to close the game. They had a 15-2 lead over the Horseheads entering the 8th inning, and it fell apart from there as they allowed 8 runs in the 8th inning. Casper made it a 15-10 ball game, but then they put in Hergert, and he was able to slam the door and give the Pioneers both the win and the series win, as that was the rubber match of that series. It will be the top of the order for the Pierre Trappers. Tyler Skelton, Braden Cordes, and Nick Strong due up. First pitch to Strong is on the inside part of the plate for ball number 1. Skelton 1 for 2 today, a single in the first and a fly out to right in the third. It's the third time that Skelton is the leadoff batter for a new pitcher. Pitch taken again for a ball. He was the first batter Teddy Broxterman faced, the first batter Charlie Deeds faced, and now the first batter that Ethan Hergert will face. And that's going to be a base hit into left field. Skelton continues to have a hot start here in the opening homestand for the Pierre Trappers. He's now 2 for 3 in his second leadoff single of an inning. Led off the first with a base hit, now leading off the 5th. It will bring up Braden Cordes, who is 0 for 2 with a ground out and a fielder's choice. In the 5th inning, Western Nebraska already on their third pitcher, as both Broxterman and Deeds lasted 2 apiece. Pitch taken low and outside for ball number 1. That will be a pop fly into right field. Underneath it is Gronholz. Gronholz will reach up to make the catch for out number 1 in the inning. Trappers have had a man reach in all 5 frames to this point. The only runner that was able to make it all the way home was Brendan Perez, who got on with a leadoff double last inning and brought home by a Brock Reinhardt single. It will bring up Nicholas Strong. Strong 0 for 1 with a fly out to right field and a walk in his previous plate appearance in the 3rd inning. A big swing and miss by Strong to start the at-bat, 0-1. It's been a quirk of how the box score has worked out. No Trapper batter has faced the same pitcher twice so far in this game. A ball goes low for ball 1. In fact, for both Broxterman and Deeds, they faced 4 batters in their first inning of work, 5 in their second, and then were relieved for by a new pitcher. Runner goes. The throw onto second base is not in time. It will go down as a stolen base for Tyler Skelton. Skelton is able to reach on a stolen base. It's the 3rd swiped bag for the Pierre Trappers today. They now have 5 on the season. 3 runs on 3 hits with no errors for Western Nebraska. Time is called. A 1-2 count goes to Nicholas Strong. It will be Skelton now in scoring position. And now a fly ball hooked over the grandstand and into the box office area on the corner of Capitol and Ree. Count stays where it is for Nicholas Strong. The pitch by Deeds is swung on and missed by Strong. Strong goes down on strikes. So after the leadoff man in Skelton gets on 2 outs and back-to-back batters and Cordes and Strong, it will bring up Caden Cardoso. Cardoso will be tasked with driving in Skelton from second base to score Pierre's second and possibly third run of the ball game if Cardoso launches his second of the year. A big swing and a miss on a ball low for strike number 1. Hergert gets the ball back. Taking off for third base with no throw is Tyler Skelton. Beautiful timing on the swiped bag. And now a runner just 90 feet away for the Pierre Trappers. Skelton singled, swiped second, now stealing third. So with a 1-1 count, Cardoso, all he needs to do is a base hit that would likely drive in Skelton from third. Takes a pitch high and away for ball number 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. Trappers still down by 2 here in the bottom of the 5th. The windup and pitch, a ground ball to the third baseman. It's picked up by Felton. Felton flips it on to the pitcher in Hergert, and that will end the inning. So the Trappers are able to get another man deep into the base paths as Skelton made it to third, but can't make it home. At the end of 5 innings, it's still Western Nebraska 3 and Pierre 1. We'll be right back for the 6th inning of gameplay when we return here on the Pierre Trappers YouTube and Mixler live streams. And at this time, we'd like to thank a few more sponsors of the 2021 Pierre Trappers baseball season. They include Pierre Physical Therapy, Central Dakota Eye Care, Kathy Sonnenschein, Branding Iron Bistro, Bob's Lounge, Bank West, American Family Insurance Brittany Scheifelbein, Allied Plumbing and Heating, Aflac, A Cut and Style, and Clausen and Rice. Thank you for continuing to be sponsors of the 2021 Pierre Trappers baseball season. New pitcher for the Pierre Trappers, it will be number 12 in Tyler Lubin. The right-hander out of El Cajon, California, went to Minot, North Dakota to play collegiate baseball, playing for the Minot State Beavers. And in fact played the last 3 weeks of last Expedition League season for the Surrey Valley Saberdogs. He decided to stay in the Expedition League but travel a state south to Pierre, South Dakota to play this season. Lubin, in one appearance this season, has pitched 2 innings, allowed 2 base hits, no runner to score, with 1 walk and 2 strikeouts. He'll have to face the bottom of the order. In fact, it's the 3rd time in 3 at-bats that Caden Edwards has had to lead off an inning. He led off the 2nd, 4th, and now 6th, but he'll have to take on a new batter, or a new pitcher in Tyler Lubin. Lubin's first pitch is grounded to the second baseman, McKenna. McKenna on to first, and 1 pitch, 1 out. Efficiency for Lubin, pitching through a 1/3 of an inning in just a single pitch. It will bring up the designated hitter, Ethan Hergert, or now the pitcher for Western Nebraska, after making that switch in the top half of this inning. Or, the bottom half of last inning. Pitch will catch the corner of the plate for strike number 1. Lubin, a sidearm pitcher growing up in El Cajon, California. And growing up in California, He actually got in a few movies and TV shows as a child actor. Pitch will be spoiled down the third baseline and into the screen next to the Western Nebraska dugout. In fact, Lubin as a child actor was seen in roles in Now I Pronounce You Chuck and Larry, Blades of Glory, Modern Family, and 2.5 Men. So Lubin's face has been around the screens of America and now starts pitching here in Pierre, South Dakota. Ground ball to the shortstop, picking it up as Skelton. Skelton on to first base. That one is in time, and 2 consecutive groundouts lead off the 6th inning. It will bring up the second baseman in number 4, Clay Cutter. In fact, Lubin couldn't stay out of the limelight when he came to Minot to play collegiate baseball. Enrolled as a broadcast and professional communications major. That's a fly ball, shallow left field. Diving after it and making the snow cone catch is Braden Cordes. A diving play will end the inning. So 1, 2, 3 go the Pioneers in the 6th inning. Lubin limits his pitch count to just a few, and the Trappers will head to the bottom of the 6th inning with momentum when we return here on the Pierre Trappers YouTube and Mixlr live streams. And just before we begin the bottom half of the 6th inning, we have a few more sponsors that we'd like to thank for supporting the 2021 Pierre Trappers baseball season, including Corner Station, The Crossing, Cowboy Country Stores, Edward Jones, Mark Ullman, Envirotech, Farmers Union Insurance, Oahe Federal Credit Union, Michelle Maupin Barrett Photography, May Adam, Layden and Associates, and Papa Murphy's Pizza. Thank you for continuing to be sponsors of the 2021 Pierre Trappers baseball season. Brendan Perez will lead things off in the 6th inning, and back for his 2nd inning of work is number 35 in Ethan Hergert. Hergert's first pitch to Perez throws up some chalk from the batter's box low for ball number 1. Perez 1 for 1, a walk and a double later came around to score in the 4th inning. A ground ball to the third baseman. McGee will pick it up and fire onto first for the quick ground out. It will bring up number 21, Jacob Newman. So Newman 1 for 2 today, a single back in the 2nd inning, then flew out to center in his previous at-bat in the 4th inning. He'll take the first pitch for strike number 1. Trappers trying to work their way back into this ballgame after an early 3-0 deficit. A foul ball will head into the stands for strike number 2. Trappers did make a slight dent in that 3-0 deficit. They scored a run in the bottom half of the fourth, making it a 3-1 ball game, which is where we stand right now. Pitch from Hergert goes low for ball 2. Excuse me, ball 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That pitch goes low, and that will be ball number 2. 2-2, the count goes even to Newman. Reinhardt on deck, and in the hole right now is number 20, Cole Yancey. Ground ball to third, picking it up is McGee. McGee fires onto first base for the second out. 2 consecutive ground outs to the third baseman to lead off the Trappers' half of the 6th. So Reinhardt stands in, and now heading into the on-deck circle is Yancey. Yancey would be in place of Bennett Osborne. And the first pitch to the third batter of the inning goes high and outside for ball number 1. This inning, 2 batters faced, and Perez and Newman both grounded out to the third baseman. We'll see if the same is for Brock Reinhardt. Fouls one back into the screen, evens the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Hergert will wind up and pitch. That one will go on the outside part of the plate for ball number 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. Reinhardt is 1 for 2 today with a strikeout, swinging, and a single. A fly ball into right field. Chasing after it is Gronholz. That will drop in for a base hit. Gronholz bobbles it, but it won't matter as Reinhardt is in there at first base. Second base hit of the day for Reinhardt will bring up Cole Yancey, who's in as a pinch hitter. So Yancey in relief of Bennett Osborne. Osborne will be out of today's game after an 0 for 2 start in center field. First pitch to him will go outside for ball number 1. Yancey will pop this one up into foul territory, and making the catch in foul ground will be Felton for out number 3. It leaves Reinhardt stranded at first base, and through 2/3 of today's game, the Pierre Trappers still find themselves down 3-1. We'll be back for the 7th inning here on the Pierre Trappers YouTube and Mixler live streams. And there's a few more sponsors we'd like to thank before we begin the top half of the 7th inning. They include Farmers Union Insurance, Mefford, First Dakota National Bank, First United Methodist Church, Foster's Rentals, Governor's Inn, Gateway Ford, Lincoln Toyota, Gentleman's Barber Shop, the Governor's Inn, Graham Tire, Guadalajara, and Hero Gym. Thank you for continuing to be sponsors of the 2021 Pierre Trappers baseball season. Tyler Lubin returns on the mound for the Pierre Trappers for his 2nd inning of work. After a 1-2-3 top of the 6th inning, he'll now have to take on the top of the Pioneers lineup in Frank, McGee, and English. We appreciate you sticking with us here on both our YouTube and Mixler live streams throughout the entire season for Pierre Trappers baseball for both home and the road. Lubin allowed 2 hits in his previous appearance for the Trappers against the Sodbusters, and after a 1-2-3 inning in the 6th, we'll see how Lubin takes on the top of the Pioneers order. Lubin's only the second pitcher the Trappers have used so far today. Meanwhile, for the Pioneers, they've already used 3 and put in their third pitcher at the top of the 5th inning. Excuse me, bottom of the 5th inning. So leading things off will be Dalton Frank, the shortstop for the Pioneers, who is 0 for 3 today after a 3 for 4 day yesterday. Lubin gets set on the bump to Dalton Frank. The sidearm pitcher gets the first pitch in there for strike number 1. Again, it's Frank, McGee, and English. 2 up and making the substitution as a pitch is taken on the outside part of the plate for ball number 1. Making the substitution in center field for Bennett Osborne is Cole Yancey. He'll remain in defensively. So a 1-1 count to Frank. That will be a pop fly. And the second baseman, Thomas McKenna, is able to reach up and make the catch for out number 1. A quick pop out by the leadoff batter for Western Nebraska. And it will bring up the third baseman, number 27, and Cade McGee. He's reached all 3 times he's had a plate appearance, but all by different methods. He was hit by a pitch, he singled, and walked in his previous plate appearance. First pitch by Lubin will miss low for ball 1. So a 1-0 count to the Pioneers' third baseman. Tyler Lubin retiring 4 consecutive batters. That pitch is taken on the low part of the plate for strike number 1. McGee 1 for 1 today after the hit by pitch and walk. That's going to be a ground ball to Skelton. Skelton on to first base for out number 2 in the inning. So that's 5 consecutive batters retired by Tyler Lubin, and he'll now need to take on the batting average leader of the Western Nebraska Pioneers and Jake English, who's 1 for 1 today with an RBI double and a couple of walks. Hometown crowd just an out away from the 7th inning stretch. A fly ball will head into foul territory down the right field line for strike number 1 of the at-bat. Consistent crowd has stayed here for most of the game. Attendance of approximately around 200 people. That's going to be another ground ball to Skelton. Skelton can't hold on to that one. It'll be his second error of the ball game and the second error for the Trappers tonight overall. So English will reach on the error by the shortstop Tyler Skelton. It's his 5th error of the season. It will extend the Pioneers' inning to bring up JT Walden. Walden 0 for 3 with a fielder's choice ground out and a fly out to left in that order. First pitch to Walden is a ground ball to the first baseman. Picking it up in fair territory and stepping on first is Nicholas Strong. In one pitch after a reach on air, it will end the inning anyway. A 3 unassisted for JT Walden brings us to the 7th inning stretch. It's time to stand up and stretch your legs as Hyde Stadium will sing "Take Me Out to the Ballgame." We'll return for the Trappers half of the 7th when we return here on the Pierre Trappers YouTube and Mixlr live streams.
When it comes to clothing in the capital area, Total Beauty and Speedway Laundry have you covered. Speedway Laundry offers the fastest way to clean clothes, with free Wi-Fi offered while you wait. Next door, family-owned and operated Total Beauty has a constantly changing inventory of top-quality clothing. Check out the newest lines in clothing by giving Total Beauty and Speedway Laundry a visit at 111 First Street in Fort Pierre.
Welcome back for the bottom of the 7th inning. A pitching change for Western Nebraska. It will bring in from right field number 15, Kip Gronholz. And so coming out from right field was Gronholz. Substitution in is Brian Webb, the new right fielder for Western Nebraska. He jumps in as a defensive substitution here in the bottom of the 7th inning. So Gronholz becomes the new pitcher for Western Nebraska. In fact, it's their 3rd position player on their roster to pitch today. For Gronholz, a Southwest Minnesota State Mustang, did pitch in Game 2, was the Game 2 closer against Casper. Pitched 1 2/3 of an inning, allowed 1 hit, 1 run. No walks and no strikeouts for Gronholz on his pitching line his last time out. So he'll have to take on the 9-1-2 in the Trappers lineup in McKenna, Skelton, and Cordes. Again, the new right fielder is number 29 in Brian Webb, likely going to take Hergert's spot from the DH/pitcher. First pitch from Gronholz will miss low and away for ball number 1. Pitch. Second pitch of the at-bat is a strike, evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike to Thomas McKenna. Another pitch catches the plate for strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes to McKenna. McKenna 0 for 2 today with a ground out and a pop out. Tyler Skelton on deck. And a pitch low will even the count at 2-2. Now McKenna will line a ball into right field, but it will hook well foul, keeping the count where it is at 2-2. Trappers running out of innings to make a comeback. They have the 7th, 8th, and 9th remaining, down by 2 runs. The 2-2 fouled back and blocked by the catcher. Count remains McKenna staying alive in the at-bat with that foul ball. With Webb coming in to substitute as the right fielder, Western Nebraska now only has 1 position player available on the bench. As called, strike number 3. And the first strikeout of the day for Kip Gronholz. The lineup card flips over with 1 away in the inning to bring up Tyler Skelton, the shortstop. Skelton 2 for 3 today with a couple of singles and a fly out to right field. Skelton advanced all the way to third base in the bottom of the 5th inning, but was unable to score with the batters behind him. Skelton ready to take on Gronholz, the fourth different pitcher that Skelton has had to face in his 4 plate appearances. Cordes on deck, a swing and a foul ball. Straight back into the screen behind home plate. Puts the count even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Western Nebraska trying to sweep the Pierre Trappers in a quick 2-game series. They'll have 2 days off after today's game. And now a pop-up heading into foul territory. Underneath it and unable to come up with it was the first baseman, Felton. It could have been a quick 2 outs for the Pioneers. Instead, they'll have to continue to pitch to Tyler Skelton. Skelton consistently has been the leadoff man for the Trappers, has not moved from that position since opening day. Now a short ground ball. It will be picked up by Cutter. Cutter, the throw onto first, is in time for out number 2. So 2 away quickly. Gronholz gets through 2 Trappers batters consecutively, and that will bring up Braden Cordes, who's 0 for 3. A fielder's choice, a ground out to third, and a fly out to right field is on Cordes' line so far. So Cordes will bat with 2 outs. Pitch misses for ball 1. Gronholz on the mound for Western Nebraska is the 4th pitcher they've used today. Pitch will bounce off the plate and behind. Puts the count at 2 balls and no strikes. If Cordes were to get on, it would bring up Nicholas Strong, who stands on the on-deck circle. Another pitch goes outside, 3 balls, no strikes. So after a McKenna strikeout and a Skelton groundout, Gronholz misses with 3 consecutive pitches and make it 4 consecutive pitches as Braden Cordes will draw a 4-pitch walk. So a 2-out rally potentially brewing with Cordes getting on via the walk. It will bring up Strong, who's 0 for 2 today, but has reached via the free pass back in the 3rd inning. Other than that, he flew out to right and struck out swinging. That strikeout was in Strong's previous at-bat when he had to take on Ethan Hergert. So the pitcher for Western Nebraska, Kip Gronholz, against the batter for Pierre and Nicholas Strong with a runner on base. First pitch will be a ground ball to the shortstop. Flipping on to second base, it goes Frank to Cutter for the 3rd out of the inning. Through 7 complete, Western Nebraska still holding on to the 3 runs they scored in the first 3 frames. They lead 3-1. We'll be back for the 8th inning when we return here on the Pierre Trappers YouTube and Mixler live streams. Welcome back for the 8th inning here on the Pierre Trappers YouTube and Mixler live streams. Tyler Lubin remaining on the mound for his 3rd inning of work after relatively painlessly getting through the 6th and 7th innings. The only runner to reach was Jake English on an error. But before we get to Lubin's 3rd inning of work and the top of the 8th inning for Western Nebraska, we have a few more sponsors we'd like to thank for their support of the 2021 Pierre Trappers baseball season, including Perkins, the Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce, Sanford Health, Pierre Family Dental, the South Dakota Lottery, Shane's Pharmacy, the South Dakota Treasurer's Office, Shells, Slumberland, and Smith Fireworks. Thank you for continuing to be sponsors of the 2021 Pierre Trappers baseball season. Michael Felton leads things off here in the 8th. Tyler Lubin returning for his 3rd inning of work, and the first pitch to Felton is in there for a strike. It's Felton, Gronholz, and Edwards due up for Western Nebraska here in the top of the 8th inning. Pitch will miss and even the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Felton is 1 for 2 today. He singled in the first, had a sacrifice fly in the 3rd, and struck out swinging in his last plate appearance in the 5th. A ground ball to the second base side. McKenna, a diving play. The throw on is not in time. A good effort by McKenna, but just was unable to get the ball thrown onto Strong at first. It will go down as a base hit for Michael Felton. I mean, you got to give McKenna credit on that play, making the diving stop. Did almost a somersault in the deep infield and was just discombobulated on the throw. So the leadoff single will bring up the pitcher in Kip Gronholz. First pitch misses for a ball. Gronholz started the day in right field, came in from his position to pitch in the previous half inning. Lubin, pickoff attempt to first, but back in there safely by a long shot was Michael Felton. And now with Lubin being in his 3rd inning of work, it will cause the Trappers bullpen to come alive. A called strike evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Kip Gronholz, the current batter. Caden Edwards on deck for the Pios. A 1-1 count, another pickoff attempt, and back in there safely is Felton. Lubin checks back out the runner. And the sidearm delivery misses outside for ball 2. It puts Gronholz ahead in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. Pitcher to pitcher. Gronholz is 0 for 3 today, a strikeout, groundout, and flyout on his line. Runner goes, the throw down to second base. That one is not in time. Sliding underneath the tag is Felton, a stolen base. And the Pioneers' perfect season on stolen bases continues. It's drawing groans from the home supporters at Hyde Stadium who think the throw from Reinhardt was in time. Pitch missed to move the count to 3 balls and 1 strike. Lubin checks at the runner at second base. A swing and a foul ball will be fielded by Coach Garcia on the third base side for Western Nebraska. Foul ball moves the count full to 3 balls and 2 strikes. Pioneers holding on to a 3-1 lead, all 3 runs scoring in the first 3 innings of the game. It's been a relatively quiet night for the Pios since then. Lubin checks back at Felton at second, pickoff attempt. And again back in there safely is Felton. Being picked off at both first base and now second base. Fielding the pickoff attempt was Thomas McKenna for the Trappers. The full count pitch goes on the outside part of the plate for ball 4. And it's the first walk of the game surrendered by Tyler Lubin. It puts runners at first and second. And here comes Coach Monterio May out of the dugout to talk to his pitcher. The infield will come in with the exception of the middle infielders in Skelton and McKenna. And with 2 base runners reaching by a single and a walk, we'll see if this is, and it will be, words of encouragement to Tyler Lubin as he'll remain on the mound. So with nobody out, it will bring up Caden Edwards. Edwards, the left fielder for Western Nebraska, has had an over 3 spot on his line so far with a strikeout and a couple of groundouts. Came into this game batting .143. That has since gone down with his 0 for 3 mark today. Lubin again checking over at Felton at second base. The deal, and that one's going to miss for a ball. Lubin, after 2 successful innings, only allowing 1 base runner to reach on an error in the 7th inning, has now allowed back-to-back base runners to get on. Lubin deals, and it will be Edwards fouling it back into the screen for strike number 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. It will be Brian Webb on deck for Western Nebraska. Still has not had his first at-bat since coming in as a defensive substitution. Lubin deals bunt attempt. The bunt will go foul for strike number 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes, likely going to scare Edwards away from bunting again, as if he fouls off another one, it would be a strikeout on a bunt attempt. So Webb on deck, Edwards taking the at-bat. Runners at first and second for the Pios. Gronholz at first, Felton at second. Lubin looks in with a 1-2 count. A fly ball into left field. Chasing after it is Cordes. Cordes reaches up to make the catch. Thinking about tagging was Felton, but he'll retreat back to second base. 1 away in the inning after Edwards flies out, which will bring up a new batter to face the Pierre Trappers. He did not get in the game yesterday. He did get in the game yesterday as the first baseman ended up going 0 for 3. His final 2 plate appearances were a walk and a hit by pitch. He'll get his first plate appearance of today's game after coming in as a defensive sub last inning. First pitch to Webb is a ground ball to the second baseman, McKenna. McKenna on to first. That one is in time for out number 2, but the runners do advance on the ground out. So Gronholz, who was at first, advances to second base, and Felton, who was at second, will advance to third. 2 runners in scoring position for the 9-hole batter, Clay Cutter. Cutter 0 for 2 today, reached on a walk, reached on an error, and flew out to left field in his previous at-bat. First pitch by Lubin to Cutter goes on the outside part of the plate for ball number 1. It's round 2 of Cutter versus Lubin, as Cutter was the 3rd batter that Lubin had to face in his appearance. That was when Cutter flew out to left. Foul ball will head straight back into the screen. For strike number 1, it will even the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Trappers, ever since the 3rd inning, have had the job of just not allowing a run to score and pushing the deficit even further. A big swing and a miss by Clay Cutter puts the count at 1 ball and 2 strikes. And so far they've done that. However, the Trappers have not scored in 3 consecutive frames, only scoring 1 run back in the 4th inning. Another pitch from Lubin to Cutter, and another one fouled off. Keeps the count where it is, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Runners at second and third for the Pios. A swing, and yet another one fouled off. Cutter staying alive in the at-bat. It's working Lubin's pitch count up, but with action going earlier this inning in the Trappers' bullpen, it was likely Lubin's last inning of work anyway. Trappers a strike away from getting out of A jam with 2 runners in scoring position. A ball goes on the outside part of the plate, evens the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. It was this inning yesterday that the Pioneers exploded for 4 runs that put the game somewhat out of reach. To put them up 8-4, that will be a pop fly into foul territory and hooking well out of play. For the Trappers today, they're hoping that it's the opposite. They're hoping that they have the big 8th and 9th innings that could potentially tie the game or give them the lead. But first things first is you have to stop the Pioneers from scoring here in the top half of the frame. A swing and a miss. Lubin strikes out Clay Cutter. And on his first strikeout of the day, gets out of the inning with 2 runners in scoring position. The Trappers keep this a 3-1 ball game. They'll try to put another run on the board to at least cut the deficit or potentially tie this ball game. We'll be right back for the bottom of the 8th inning here on the Pierre Trappers YouTube and Mixlr live streams.
Hey, it's the old top Gator here with Gators Pizza Pasta Subs in the Northridge Plaza. Gators is known for top quality food. Now you can have our food selections delivered right to your front door using DoorDash. That's right, now you have 4 ways that you can get great Gators food. Dine in, carry out, curbside pickup, and now delivery through DoorDash. Gators has been serving the Pierre area and now Trappers baseball fans since 1987. Gators Pizza Pasta Subs in the Northridge Plaza.
Bottom of the 8th inning on tap here from Hyde Stadium. Remaining in the game is Kip Gronholz for his 2nd inning of work. And so far, it's been every Pioneer pitcher pitching 2 innings. It was Broxterman pitching 2 that started the game. Deeds pitching 2, Hergert pitching 2. Gronholz is through 1 in for his 2nd inning. It will be the 4, 5, 6 of the Trappers batting order with Cardoso, Perez, and Newman due up. In between innings, we saw Coach May talking to umpires with the offensive part of the inning due up. We'll see if there's any lineup changes with the batters that have to come up for the Trappers in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Cardoso will lead things off here in the bottom of the 8th inning. He'll take the first pitch inside for ball 1. Second pitch of the at-bat will be spoiled off for strike number 1. 1 ball and 1 strike to Cardoso, who is 0 for 3 today. A strikeout looking, a fly out to left, and a ground out back to the pitcher. Pitch goes low, and I think that indeed it did hit Cardoso's foot. So a leadoff hit by pitch. And at this point in the game, the Trappers will take any runner they can get on base by any means necessary. Cardoso wearing 1 for the team, and the leadoff man is on. It will bring up the designated hitter, Brendan Perez. Perez is 1 for 2 today, a walk, double, and ground out to the third baseman today. Runner stands at first base. Perez takes the first pitch for strike number 1. Trappers have not scored since the 4th inning. We're here in the bottom of the 8th. 3-1 Pioneers lead. Foul ball goes high over the grandstand and well out of play. Current line scores 3 runs on 4 hits with no errors for Western Nebraska, 1 run on 6 hits, and 2 errors for the Trappers. Cardoso stands at first. The pitch goes low in the dirt. A good block by English behind the plate stops Cardoso from advancing to second base. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Perez the batter. Jacob Newman on deck with Brock Reinhardt in the hole. A line drive into left field. Will that one get down? No, it will be caught by Edwards in left for the first out of the inning. Retreating back to first is Caden Cardoso. So it will bring up Jacob Newman, 1 for 3 today, a single back in the second inning. Since then, a fly out to center and a ground out to third. And now the 2 umpires meeting. I'm not sure what this could be about. But it will bring up Jacob Newman. So Cardoso still stands at first after he was hit in the foot by a pitch. Reinhardt on deck. First pitch to Newman is taken low and away for ball number 1. Another pitch taken low down the center of the plate but below the knees for ball number 2. Newman not offering at either pitch as neither of the pitches by Gronholz were in the strike zone. First time matchup between Gronholz and Newman. Newman has to duck out of the way as that one runs high and inside for ball number 3. And with this position in the ball game and a 3-0 count, you have to imagine for Newman the red light is on. It was on, and it was the right call as it's ball number 4. Newman walks a 4-pitch walk. The second walk surrendered by Kip Gronholz, and it pushes a runner into scoring position for the Pierre Trappers, bringing up Brock Reinhardt. Bottom of the 8th inning, the tying run is represented by Jacob Newman at first base, with the go-ahead run being Brock Reinhardt at the dish. Big position here for the Pierre Trappers with runners on. First pitch is taken by Reinhardt for strike number 1. Reinhardt is 2 for 3 today, struck out swinging back in the second, but since then 2 consecutive singles in 2 at-bats in the 4th and 6th innings. The 0-1, that's a fly ball into right field. That one's going to drop for a base hit. Rounding third and coming home is Caden Cardoso. Newman on his horse, rounding third. He gets the green light from Coach Jamie. He is in to score. The Pierre Trappers have tied this ball game at 3 in the bottom of the 8th inning. After 7 consecutive half innings with no runs scored, the Trappers put up 2 here in the bottom of the 8th, and we are tied at 3. The Trappers really love tie ball games. They went to extras opening day and took a 4-4 ball game yesterday into the 8th inning. They've just tied this ball game here at 3 in the 8th off the 2 RBI double by Brock Reinhardt. It will bring up Cole Yancey, who's 0 for 1. It was a bit of a surprise that Yancey was outside of the starting 9 after starting in every other game for the Trappers. He was yesterday's starting left fielder. Now, Yancey will send this one into the middle outfield. Making the catch is Walden in center. The throwback in slightly gets away. It actually made Reinhardt think about taking off for third, but he'll stay at second base in scoring position with 2 away in the inning. So we'll bring up the 9-hole batter in Thomas McKenna. McKenna batting .250 after an 0 for 3 line today. He grounded out, popped out, and struck out. Big inning for the Trappers. If they've tied this ball game, that will be a wild pitch. That will get away. Getting to third base is Brock Reinhardt on the wild pitch. The Trappers have the go-ahead run just 90 feet away, standing at third base, and a base hit by Thomas McKenna could be the go-ahead run. This game has gotten very interesting this half inning, with the Trappers tying the game at 3. Gronholz sets and deals. That's a fly ball and will hook foul down the right field line. Evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. So an even count to Thomas McKenna. The go-ahead run 90 feet away at third base. McKenna will take a pitch outside for ball 2. And you can hear it from up here in the press box, but the energy in the Pierre Trappers dugout is unmatched from every other inning this game. McKenna, a ground ball. That one will go to the second baseman and cutter. The throw on is in time. It looked like Felton may have come off the bag, but he was called out by field umpire Tony Archina, and this game will remain tied heading into the 9th inning. Coach May will come out and appeal, and now the 2 umpires will talk it over. Archina and Sedecase talking about if Felton actually came off the bag. If so, the Trappers, and it's going to be overturned. Tony Archina comes out and overturns his call. Here comes Coach Garcia for Western Nebraska pleading his case, and he is hot. The Pierre Trappers, as of right now, have the lead in this ball game. At least from our perspective up here in the press box, it did look like Felton came off the bag. That's what everyone else on our side of the field saw. And now the Western Nebraska Pioneers have to come out of their dugout and retake their spots on the field. What an inning for the Pierre Trappers. A odd turn of events as Archina overturns his decision after what Sedecase saw from his position behind home plate. The Trappers have taken the lead 4-3. So the inning continues. Thomas McKenna reaching on the fielder's error by the first baseman Felton. It's Felton's first error of the season in the field. So it brings up Tyler Skelton. The Pierre Trappers have just taken the lead in this ballgame when we thought we could be heading to the 9th inning with a tie ballgame. First pitch to Skelton will be taken for a strike. Wow, what a wild turn of events here at Hyde Stadium. Pitch taken low and away for Skelton for ball number 1, evens the count. Skelton 2 for 4 today, a couple singles, a fly out, and a ground out. And another pitch taken high and outside. Gronholz missing twice since he had to come back out onto the field from the dugout after the overturned call by the umpires. Skelton will ground this one. That will get through for a base hit. Skelton now 3 for 5 today, having another huge day for the Trappers. It will push McKenna into scoring position. And now here comes the manager or head coach of Western Nebraska in Coach Garcia to talk to Kip Gronholz. And could this be the end of his day? With the Trappers taking the lead with a 3-run 8th inning. Gronholz will march off the mound. It looks like he will stay in the field as a defensive position. Gronholz will head over to third base. And it looks like it will be number 2, Dalton Frank, the shortstop. So a couple of substitutions now for the Western Nebraska Pioneers. The third baseman, McGee, will move over to shortstop. Gronholz coming off the mound will now be the third baseman. And coming off of the shortstop position, Dalton Frank will be the new pitcher. So to recap that all, the new third baseman for Western Nebraska is Kip Gronholz. The new shortstop is the former third baseman in Cade McGee. And the new pitcher is the former third shortstop in Dalton Frank. So Frank will warm up, and for Frank, after coming out of the field, he has pitched 2 days ago in the final game against the Casper Horseheads. He pitched 2/3 of an inning, allowing 1 hit, 4 runs allowed, only 1 of them was earned, walked 2 batters, and struck out 1. So Dalton Frank will enter today's pitching appearance with a 13.50 ERA on his season so far. So the Skelton single drives Kip Gronholz from this game. A new pitcher in Dalton Frank, the native of Loxahatchee, Florida, will take on Braden Cordes. First pitch to Cordes is grounded to the shortstop. McGee throws on to first, is in time, and that one will end the inning. But the Pierre Trappers take the lead on an overturned call, and I think it would be a bit much for Coach May to come out and ask the umpires to overturn another call at first base, as Cordes will ground out to short. That ends the inning, but the Pierre Trappers put up a 3 spot in the bottom of the 8th inning. They lead this ball game 4-3. An exciting top of the 9th on deck here from Hyde Stadium when we return here on the Pierre Trappers YouTube and Mixler live streams. And before we begin the top of the 9th inning, with the Western Nebraska Pioneers down for the first time today, just like to thank a couple more sponsors of the 2021 Pierre Trappers baseball season, including Shane's Pharmacy, Stella Rosa Wine, Total Beauty Speedway Laundry, United Way, Wheelhouse Plumbing, Xander Auto Parts, and Zesto. Thank you for continuing to be sponsors of the 2021 Pierre Trappers baseball season. Coming in to slam the door for the Pierre Trappers is number 17, Nick Hamill. Hamill started this season as a first baseman, has not played in this series against Western Nebraska, and will now get a spot to be able to pitch. He pitched in relief in Game 2 of the Hastings series, pitched 4 complete innings, allowing 2 hits, struck out 8. It was a very impressive performance on a day where no Trapper could really get it going on the mound. Hamill was the one in there and was able to work through 4 innings. He'll try to slam the door with the top of the Pioneers order. First pitch is a breaking ball in there for strike 1 to Dalton Frank, who is now the pitcher for the Western Nebraska Pioneers, starting at shortstop. A big swing and a miss for strike number 2. Nodding approvingly is Dalton Frank, knowing what Hamill is now made of, as he steps back into the box. An 0-2 count, with the Pierre Trappers now just 3 outs away from winning this ball game. A swing and a pop fly. Chasing after it is Cardoso, and Skelton, reaching up to make the catch. A pop out to the shortstop begins the Pioneers' half of the 9th inning. The Trappers making a huge 3-run comeback in the 8th inning to take the lead 4-3. Currently 9:45 Central Time. as this game's moved along at a relatively fast pace. And that pitch will catch the outside part of the plate for strike number 1 to the new batter in Cade McGee, who is now the shortstop, started at third base for the Pioneers. Hamill deals a swing on a pitch in the dirt. McGee has to wish he got that pitch back for another attempt. And now no balls and 2 strikes, and here comes Brock Reinhardt to talk to his pitcher. Nick Hamill, the native of Schertz, Texas, attending McMurray University. He played first base all year for the Warhawks, did not get a chance to pitch. Didn't think he'd get a chance to pitch for the Pierre Trappers, but after a blowout win for Hastings gave him an opportunity. He showed Coach May what he was made of, and now he's in here with a save opportunity against the Western Nebraska Pioneers. An 0-2 count to Cade McGee. Sits on it, and a pitch catches the strike zone for out number 2, a strikeout looking Nick Hamill, his 9th strikeout of the season on the mound, and the Pierre Trappers are an out away from coming back and stealing this one from the Western Nebraska Pioneers. A win would push the Trappers to 2-2 on the season, heading to their first road trip against in-state rival in the Spearfish Sasquatch. First pitch, a ground ball. This could do it. Skelton picks it up, fires onto first base in time, and the Pierre Trappers come back from down by 3 runs to win this game 4-3. The Pierre Trappers split the series with the Pioneers and take 2 out of 4 on this homestand to win 4-3. They advance to 2-2. They'll have a well-deserved day off tomorrow after a big comeback. Then they hit the road. So a day off on Sunday. Monday, they'll be in Spearfish taking on the Sasquatch. You can listen to that entire series with me on the call on the Pierre Trappers Mixler channel. Once again, the Pierre Trappers winning 4-3 in comeback fashion. Stay tuned as we'll wrap up this entire ballgame as the Pierre Trappers once again take this ballgame 4-3 over the Western Nebraska Pioneers. Don't go anywhere. We'll wrap it up when we return.
You don't need an illness to need a doctor. You don't need to feel sick to feel better. You don't need to be unwell to get well. What you do need is a primary care provider at Sanford Health. Better healthcare starts with regular wellness visits and a familiar face who knows you, your concerns, and your goals. We're here before you need us. We're here when you need us. We're here after you need us. We're here for you. Find your primary care provider at sanfordhealth.org today. Health.org today. Health.org today.
Welcome back to Hyde Stadium. An exciting finish to this game as the Pierre Trappers come back from down by 3 runs to end up winning this ball game 4-3. A big 3-run 8th inning for the Pierre Trappers. It's the first time all season that the Trappers have not had to play the bottom of the 9th after walking off Hastings on opening day. They get their 2nd win of the season, and really a big part of that Trappers win was the combined efforts of Adrian Lopez only allowing 3 runs for the first 3 innings, and then Tyler Lubin working through the 6th, 7th, and 8th innings to end up shutting down the Western Nebraska Pioneers from scoring anything else. In fact, it will be Tyler Lubin who is tonight's winning pitcher. He advances to 1-0 on the year on his record. The losing pitcher will be Kip Gronholz. A position player for the Pioneers will fall to a 0-1 record on the mound this season, and the first time that the Trappers have had a pitcher with a save. Nick Hamill comes in and shuts the door, facing 3 batters. The Pioneers went 3 up, 3 down in the top of the ninth as the Trappers end up winning this ball game 4-3. A big win for the Trappers heading on the road in what is perhaps their biggest game of the season in terms of momentum, heading on the road for the first time. They'll have a day off tomorrow before taking on Spearfish for 2 games. They'll have 2 more days off before traveling to Sioux Falls for the first meeting ever between the Pierre Trappers and the Sioux Falls Sunfish in the Sunfish home opener. Meanwhile, for Western Nebraska, they lose only their second ball game of the year. They fall to 3-2 on the season. They will have 2 days off. They'll drive back to Gering, Nebraska tonight and prepare for the Badlands Big Sticks. So once again, the Pierre Trappers win on 4 runs, 8 hits, and 2 errors. The Western Nebraska Pioneers scoring 3 runs on 4 hits. They did not commit an error in the field. For the rest of our intern crew and the rest that make this production of Pierre Trappers Baseball on YouTube and Mixlr possible, I'm Tyler Katz.